news. Please bring us up to date. Or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me. You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the...
Unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
the People's Channel?
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. That's State of the Nation every Monday and Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Only on GB News, the People's Channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
I'm Bev Turner. Thank you for joining us on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
To all of you who voted for GB News to win at the Trick Awards for the 3rd year in a row.
So thank you so much for voting for us.
First, and hopefully there'll be a few more to come down the line.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's because of you that we're proud to be the People's Channel. It's because of you that we are Britain's news channel.
And you're very welcome to Britain's news channel. Good morning to you. Question, is the Prime Minister losing control of his MPs?
Up to 50 Labour backbenchers threaten to rebel against tomorrow's welfare bill. That's despite the government making significant concessions.
And dozens more could exploit the situation to mount a protest against the inheritance tax on farms.
After a series of policy reversals, is the Prime Minister's grip on power slipping away?
Glastonbury has come to a close, but the controversy rumbles on as the police assess a performer's chance of death to the Israeli military.
A heatwave is in full force as Britain is set to be hotter than Barbados today.
Donald Trump has sat down in one of his most honest interviews since the election, but with a matter of days until his controversial tariffs are due to resume, is a storm brewing.
Prince William gives an update on his initiative to end homelessness. We find out what's in store for Homewood's future.
And could it be the hottest start to Wimbledon ever? Crowds are making their way to the world's oldest tennis tournament as we speak. And we'll be talking to some of those who are in the queues.
And in sport this morning, Wimbledon. Wimbledon begins. We've got the most Britons playing in Wimbledon this year since 1984. The Lionesses have scored 7 goals in their final warm-up game before the Euros. And Chris Eubank Jr. against Conor Benn. The rematch is on.
There's a northwest-southeast split with our weather over the next 24 hours, with temperatures rising across the southeast. Find out how high they'll go later on with me.
Hello there, very good morning to you on this Monday morning. You're starting your day and your week with us, and I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
A scorcher for Wimbledon, which may be difficult if you're playing, may be difficult if you're sitting there watching.
I think it's even worse when you're walking around.
No, come on.
Honestly, it is. It gets so packed. And you walk up in and went to the last couple of years and it's not going to be as hot as this. And sometimes, I mean, when you're really, really hot, yeah.
But there's always those places to refresh yourself.
There is, of course there is, yeah. There's always places to refresh yourself.
Playing tennis in that heat has got to be really tough. And then these games can go on for, what, 4 or 5 hours?
I think a lot of them are used to it, though, because when they tour around the world, in some of the places, where they play in Australia, where they're playing in the States, the US Open is particularly hot. So there's lots of other places, then they're used to that, to summer sport, but my goodness, it really is going to be warm out there today.
I was looking at the lineups on the various courts today. Who's on court 13? Who've you got done in court?
How am I supposed to know that? Honestly, you think... That's a tough one for me to work out, Eamonn. I know, but I mean, court 13, what do you think it is? It's a bit of a tricky one to ask me so early.
Well, do you know why I'm asking you it?
Is it Emma?
Because there is no court 13.
Oh!
Thank goodness.
There you are.
Thank goodness. Is that true?
Yeah. What do you mean? Is that why you keep saying? As if I sit and make things up every morning.
I'm just making conversation, Eamonn. Is that true?
There is no court 13.
I had no idea.
Know that.
Because a lot of players would be superstitious about playing on 13.
Right.
That's like on a plane, there's not...
That's one for you to have to impress people with.
You know what? I might use that.
You can take that one.
But the thing is, though, it's ridiculous, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because someone's got to win anyway. So if you got court 13, you can't have them both lose.
Well, there isn't one. That's all
I've got one for you.
What?
You know when they do and we mentioned this last week, they don't have the line judges anymore. They've got rid of them for the first time ever because it's electronic line calling.
All right, yeah.
The voices, because you still get, help, oh, and all that stuff.
Are you?
No, I wish it was. They are different people that work at Wimbledon. Whether they be someone that might work in the museum, someone might be a cleaner, so they use... And each court has got a different...
I love that.
A different voice.
Well, why wouldn't you just use previous line judges?
Yeah, just have a beep in their ear and then they can shout. So it's just the shout is there, but there's no humans there.
Interesting.
I think that's nice. Get everybody involved.
Yes.
OK. Thank you, Mr Paul. See you 20 past. Well, politics to begin with, and a crisis point for the Prime Minister. Around 50 MPs are still set to rebel against the welfare bill, which will be read tomorrow.
Well, Keir Starmer admitted in an interview that he lost control of the welfare revolt due to his focus on foreign affairs.
Now, this comes as a polling guru said this was the worst start of any newly elected Prime Minister. So it's only a matter of time before the Deputy Prime Minister. Is it only a matter of time before Angela Rayner makes manoeuvres to take the top spot?
Well, we're now joined by economics editor at The Spectator, Michael Simmons. Morning to you, Michael. And I think it's fascinating, actually, the Prime Minister trying to be honest there, saying he let this rebellion get out of hand by being too focused on NATO.
Yeah, I mean, but it's some excuse, right? I mean, if you're the Prime Minister, you've got to keep an eye of what's going on at home, especially when you've already had to make this U-turn on winter fuel. Now the U-turn that's almost certain on benefits. It's easy to see sort of any authority he has just, fading away.
Yeah, and I mean, he's many things, but he's not stupid. He makes stupid decisions, but he knows what the agenda is. He knows what the policy is. He's not facing isn't anything that any previous Prime Minister has not had to face as well. So we can factor these things in. Is this him saying, well, you know, I'm so important. I mean, I deal with world affairs and, you know, this sort of stuff just goes under the radar for me, so forgive me on that.
Well, I think it's a bit of that. I think it's also a problem in him not... You know, we often say that Keir Starmer doesn't seem to have much of a vision and much of an ideology. And I think if you're a Labour MP, you didn't, you know, stand for election to cut benefits or to cut the welfare system. And I think maybe you would get behind that if it was presented to you with a clear vision of how you were reforming the country. But what these reforms were, essentially, was a £5 billion cut that seemed aimed just so that the Chancellor could make her sums add up. And I think with no vision coming from the Prime Minister, backbench Labour MPs think, well, I'm not going to go along with that. And he just seems to...
And in return, Michael, you then get people who are saying, is this really, or this is not really, the Labour Party that I voted for?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exactly the same, right? It's the voters and the backbench MPs think this. You know, this is not why you become a Labour politician, but they've been confronted with the sort of financial reality of the country, and the Prime Minister clearly needed to do more work to get his MPs to accept that message. But something seems to have changed, you know, in the idea of a backbench MP, that there isn't just this loyalty to the government, even though it's a new government. You might expect loyalty to sort of fade away over the years, but straight away they're putting their foot down. You know, 126 of them, and saying they wouldn't go with this.
But they'll have an eye on their constituency, won't they? Many of who won by very narrow margins. That's probably what's still going on here. And we're talking about 50 rebels still for tomorrow. I mean, will it be enough to pass?
So if it is just the 50 rebels, he will still get this through on a slimmer majority. But I mean, his authority will be damaged, and the MPs that have got the concessions last week will be emboldened, and you know, they'll be pushing on the two-child benefit cap, things like that. And the problem is, once you start to back down like this, you know, it just gives power to your backbenchers to say, no, we're going to take control of you now.
OK. Michael, we're going to see you again top of the next hour, but just get people thinking about, is this the Labour Party they voted for? Where do you think the Prime Minister's priorities should lie, with foreign affairs or with home affairs? Let us know. Michael Simmons from The Spectator. We'll see you again at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Now, at 9 minutes past 6, today is set to be one of the hottest June days on record, with highs of 34 degrees, serving tennis fans a sweltering start to Wimbledon.
Much of England will enter a fourth day of heat wave. The forecast will be hotter than holiday spots in Barbados and Jamaica. Nathan Rao, weather journalist, to give us a whole take on this. Hiya, Nathan.
Hello, good morning, Eamonn. Good morning, Ellie. Are you feeling warm this morning? Because I am.
Yeah, I didn't sleep a wink last night. It was so hot, Nathan.
Yeah, and this is one of the problems. I mean, one of the things that the Met Office has pointed out, that not only are we going to see those extraordinarily high temperatures today, possibly 35, but a very, very warm night tonight with temperatures not dropping below 21 in parts of the country. And that's unusual. It's called a tropical night. So today is the big day in terms of this heat wave reaching its peak. I must point out that in the northwest of Scotland, in northwest England, you'll be wondering what we're talking about, because there it's going to be much cooler and much fresher. Temperatures really only just nudging into the 20s. But across the south, I wouldn't like to be in one of those Wimbledon queues today, because as you mentioned earlier, 29 degrees, just above 29 degrees, is the record for the hottest start to Wimbledon on record. And we could be hitting 35 degrees in London and the south today, which is well above average for the time of year. Not quite the record for June, which is 36, I think, which was set in 1976, but certainly a very, very hot day out there. If you're lucky enough to be out off work, get out and enjoy it, but do take
By and large, I mean, there are a lot of doom mongers about this, and, you know, we used to call days like this summer. It may be irregular to you guys, and the statistics mightn't just sort of add up. But what's your take of today and similar days to this all in a row?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a very interesting point, and I can let you in on a secret. I've had a lot of feedback over the last few days about people saying to me, you know, we've had this before, and this is nothing unusual, and this is, you know, we've had this in 1976. 35.5 degrees, if we get that today, that's well above average for the time of year, so it is unusual. And we are seeing a greater frequency of these runs of hotter weather than we did before. It's not, you know, we're not saying we've never seen these temperatures before. And also a lot of the concern is about the people warning about this. There is a UK Health Security Agency heat health alert out in place, and that's sort of advising the elderly and the vulnerable and people with existing health conditions. So while this is not unprecedented, and we've certainly seen temperatures in the 30s before, we're seeing more and more of these higher temperatures. And the Met Office have said something very, very interesting, which is that had we seen the same meteorological setup that we're seeing at the moment, which is high pressure, 30 or 40 or 50 years ago, we wouldn't expect to see the temperatures that we're going to see alongside that. So with the same meteorological setups, we're tending to see a trend of higher temperatures. Now that points towards a trend of, dare I say it, a warming of the climate. You know, there's a lot of debate about that. So yeah, certainly we're seeing more of these spells of warm weather.
Say if we're going to have a really hot summer, because there is a bit of a fear that if it's hot now, then we've got all of our good weather out of the way.
Yeah, well, no, that's not exactly true. Now, the Met Office's long-range forecast suggests there's a 45% chance that we might get a hotter than average summer throughout the rest of the year. That's an above average chance. When we get warmer than average starts to the season, and don't forget we had the hottest spring on record with the average temperatures, the sea waters around the UK and the ground temperatures are already high earlier in the season. That all feeds in to getting a warmer than average summer. However, I must say I've been wrong on this before and got myself into trouble, and you can never really tell what the season is going to do, you know, more than a couple of weeks in advance. I would say that with things looking at the moment, you know, there is a suggestion that we're going to see more high pressure and a more above average temperatures as we go through July, but don't hold me to it.
Okay.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Slap it all over today. OK, thank you very much indeed. It's interesting you talking about, are we going to have a hot summer? So you don't think we're in summer already?
No, July and August. And sometimes September these days, actually. I feel like we have a later summer.
You see, being from Northern Ireland, we'd be more likely to think, you know, June and July is the summer. But
maybe that was a question for Nathan. Maybe we are already in summer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Greg Dewhurst's got all the details for the weather for today. It's set to be a scorcher.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. It's a northwest-southeast split across the UK today. Some heavy rain pushing in across Northern Ireland and Scotland, but elsewhere it's generally dry with some sunny spells. This morning we do have thicker cloud already across Northern Ireland into Scotland, some western fringes of England and Wales as well. Rain moving in across Northern Ireland, western Scotland as we move through into the afternoon. Some of this could be heavy at times, but plenty of sunshine further south and east, particularly across central southeastern parts of England and Wales. And here temperatures reaching around 34, possibly even 35 Celsius, a little fresher further north and west. Temperatures the high teens to low 20s. In any sunshine, still around 24 or 25 Celsius. This evening time, we zoom into Scotland. We've got some heavy rain pushing eastwards across northern and western parts. There could be some localised disruption as we move through the evening rush hour. Some of that heavy rain also extending into Northern Ireland. Temperatures generally the high teens to low 20s. Plenty of sunshine, though, across England and Wales. The heat of the afternoon into the evening could spark one or two heavy showers, but most of us will stay dry. Perhaps still a little low cloud around some western coasts. And then through the evening and overnight, this weather front just slowly pushes its way southeastwards, though starts to fizzle out. Some fresher air behind it across Scotland and Northern Ireland overnight, staying warm and humid further southeast across England and Wales. Temperatures remaining in the high teens, perhaps locally low 20s down here, but much fresher. You can see 10, 11 Celsius there in the northwest. This weather front very slow moving into Tuesday across central parts of the UK, thick enough for some rain. Hot and humid to the southeast of this, again 35 Celsius possible. To the northwest, fresher but drier with sunny spells across Northern Ireland and Scotland. And generally for everyone, winds will be light. In the sunshine, as I mentioned, strong UV this time of year, 34 or 35 Celsius possible.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed heat pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
And we head stateside right after the break, and we're looking at what Donald Trump has been up to.
Yeah, this is GB News Breakfast with Eamonn and Ellie.
This is our country, and we think it's amazing. From high tea to the high street, we love it all. Even the rain, we like that too. There's nowhere else we'd rather be. That's why we're here to be the fearless champion of Britain, its voices and its values. Because we are GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Well, in his first TV interview since the strikes on Iran, Donald Trump said on Fox News that he has found a buyer for TikTok.
No big deal. We have a buyer for TikTok, by the way. I think I'll need probably China approval. I think President Xi will probably do it.
Who's buying?
I'll tell you in about 2 weeks.
A big technology company there.
Very, very wealthy people. It's a group of very wealthy people.
A group of them. We're delighted to welcome into the studio the Washington editor for The Times. New post for her, Katie Balls. Good luck to you in that. I hope it goes well, and we appreciate you seeing us, taking time out and seeing us as well. So, TikTok. Why is it important he finds a buyer? What's the significance of this?
Well, it's important because he has to find a buyer by law, because the law has effectively been passed saying that the current ownership, which leads to an overall Chinese company, is not something that the US is going to tolerate, and that had a bipartisan consensus. Now, Donald Trump has delayed that a few times, so delayed finding TikTok new owners, but ultimately it's something that he has to do. And previously he found an owner, but China did not want to play ball on this, and this is partly because there's a trade war going on between China and the US, which, depending on the week you're on, is more fierce or more gentle. At the moment, things feel in a slightly better place. So the question is, will these buyers, which, again, we don't know exactly who they are apart from they're wealthy and American, will that come to pass in 2 weeks? Will China go along with it? But he is facing a deadline that he keeps, putting off when it comes to what America really has to do here. Well, talking about deadlines, tariffs set to resume in the next few days. How do you think Trump's going to play this? Do you think he's going to be seeking revenge? Well, I think it's an interesting one because there's a nickname, and I think from Washington, D.C., I think it's also made its way in here, of Donald Trump, which is Taco, which is Trump always chickens out. He really doesn't like the nickname. I think when it was brought up to him in an Oval Office presser at one point, he took great offence at this nasty slur. But it goes to the fact that often you have these deadlines that Donald Trump talks about, whether it could be TikTok that we just mentioned, it could be tariffs, and then actually he delays it. It comes and goes as some type of reprieve. So now that we know that the 90 days is coming to an end on tariffs, obviously the UK managed to get a trade deal, but there was a 90-day pause to save some of these countries from some of the worst high tariffs out there. Is he going to have the courage, I suppose, to press on with that? Or will he start to worry about the economic consequences? Because, of course, if you do put really high tariffs on lots of different countries, there are about 200 he's been talking about. That does have an impact on America too, at least in terms of some short-term pain. Even if the long-term goal you'll hear members of the administration talk about is more jobs in the US, that takes some time to get to.
So what impression are you getting, whether he's winning on tariffs, whether it's doing the country a lot of good, or whether it isn't?
I think tariffs are one of the trickiest things for Donald Trump when it comes to his presidency at the moment, because it worries parts of his base. His business backers hate the tariffs, generally speaking. Obviously, there are a few exceptions. We know Elon Musk, his BFF, former very good friend, now a bit cooler, has spoken out against them and so forth. But I think the bigger concern is cost of living is a big issue in the US, just as it is here. And there's a worry that tariffs can feed into that. So I think these are all going to be factors which mean perhaps the rhetoric means that won't quite match the actions. Now, there's a chance that Donald Trump really picks on a few countries that he takes the greatest issue with. For example, Canada and the US have had pretty difficult relations since Donald Trump's return to the White House. He's already said negotiations are just off with them because they're being too tricky on various things. And also China, there's a question about, some in the administration really want all these tariffs to be aimed at trying to hurt China, as opposed to other countries. So you might get more specific countries he's going after, and perhaps a little more gentler than expected on others. And how did the Iranian strikes go down in Washington?
So I think, generally speaking, they have been well praised, and I think certainly the fact that it didn't lead to a ceasefire a few days after that meant that even some of Donald Trump's own critics in the Democrat Party, not all of them, but some of them had to say, actually, this is a good result. And some of Trump's own base, who were saying he is becoming too risky in terms of forever wars, they also thought again. There's a question on intelligence, because, of course, we still don't quite know what damage the strikes did in terms of how far they set Iran back. And Donald Trump said it's been obliterated. Intelligence reports have questioned, but we just don't really quite know yet. So I think that's the question mark.
It'll be pretty messed up, whatever's where it's gone.
Exactly.
Kitty, let me ask you, you're here on what's expected to be the hottest day of the year so far in England. What's the weather experience? What are you getting in Washington?
I am not very good with the sun, generally speaking. I was born in Aberdeen, but I feel OK for this heat wave now because it is so hot in DC. They called it the swamp for a reason. It's not just the people. It is built on a swamp. And I think we got near 40 degrees last week. The only thing is there is air conditioning in DC.
Yes.
There's air conditioning here, so maybe I'll just stay here for the day.
Yeah. You can hang out with us anytime, Katie. And it's so good to see you, and I'm so glad you're doing so well in DC.
Well, you can stay. Ellie's going. She's freezing to death.
I am freezing to death here. I can't cope with the aircon. I've asked for a blanket. Anyway, thanks, Katie.
Thank you very much. See you again after 7. Thank you very much indeed. Daily reflection time now. Here's Andy. Andy's a vicar in the Church of England.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hi, my name's Andy, and I'm a vicar in the Church of England. No doubt, we all have guilty pleasures. Wine gums are one of mine. For my wife, Fee, is licorice all sorts. And as I'm often reminded, all sorts are far more spiritual. After excuses are piled in from invited guests, the host of the great banquet in Jesus' parable says to a servant, "Go out quickly onto the streets and alleys of the town and invite the poor, the crippled and the lame." All sorts are invited. And that's the nature of God's kingdom. The invitation includes everyone. Not one of us is excluded. Background, social status, past failures are unimportant in God's eyes. It can be easy to think mixing with PLUs, people like us, will meet our needs and be more stimulating. But Jesus' dream for the church and society is all sorts, and that's so much richer. I love the rich mix of this here in our church in Poole. People with special needs or limited opportunities, alongside entrepreneurs, medics, elite special forces. And the people we might least expect are often the hidden treasures.
Now, if you were travelling to work or school or even the beach this morning, because I think that's where most people should be going if it's 35 degrees.
Who's got time on a Monday morning to go to the beach?
Annual leave. You take annual leave for a day like today.
Yeah. Does amaze me, though, that people find...
Or pull a sickie,
I
or
never
work from home.
get it right in terms of being off, being available and being in the sun.
You should have been off today. You should have seen the weather and gone, I'll take a day of annual leave, I'll head to the beach, I'll have a 99.
Suppose you're right, suppose you're right. Anyway, here's what's happening out on the roads.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M8 Junction 28A westbound off-slip to the A737 southbound is shut due to essential overnight roadworks. Commuters should follow the signed diversion and expect extended travel times. Additionally, the A48M westbound from the A48 at Pound Hill Overbridge to Junction 29A at St Mellons is closed for planned maintenance, with diversions in place. Today, drivers may face delays in the areas mentioned, and on the trains, major disruptions are affecting the Avanti West Coast between Carlisle and Glasgow Central or Edinburgh, as well as on the Trans-Pennine Express affecting the same routes. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Now, still to come, could today be the hottest June day on record? Well, it'll be good news for us, good news for you if you're sitting out in the garden, not good if you play tennis, right?
Or watch tennis. You're going to have to slap on all that protection factor. Alex Davis, our man, we're going to him. He's in Wimbledon today. And Alex, you're outside one of the tube stations or train stations around Wimbledon. So where are you? Tell us where you are. It's all pretty quiet there at the moment. When's it going to get busy?
I'm outside Southfield Station, Eamonn, on my way down to the Wimbledon queue, and it may look quiet now, but let me tell you, hundreds of people have already flocked through those doors on their way down to join the already undoubtedly thousands of people queuing at the Wimbledon queue. We'll be reporting from there later in the show.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie's here.
I'm Michelle Duke, Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's News Channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes and Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show. It's not a bad brand. Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll squeeze in the Great British Giveaway, maybe enhance your day by quite a lot.
Oh, yeah.
By how much?
£54,321, all tax-free.
Not bad, not bad. All of that could be yours. Here's our lovely Hayley Sparks with the details.
This is your chance to enjoy luxury this summer. It's our biggest cash prize to date, an incredible £54,321 in tax-free cash has to be won. What would you do with that? With all of that cash, you could just chill out, treat yourself, and indulge in the finer things in life. Somewhere like here, Downhall Hotel and Spa. You really could win the cash giveaway of the summer. Go on, treat yourself.
For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
I'm so excited for Wimbledon. Are you?
Begins today, absolutely.
Yeah.
Love the first day of Wimbledon.
Me too.
I was looking at prices. This is just unbelievable because we're going to speak to Alex in just a second, who's there. And the queue is very famous. You know, everybody queues very early, and you can have a tent where only have a 2-person tent, and all these rules. We're going through that in a second.
I don't do queues for restaurants, pubs, concerts.
That probably
has this been ever since you've been Eamonn?
Ever since I've been knee-high to cricket.
Right.
Couldn't queues. Do you do queues?
Well, yeah, we have to do queues because we're normal people.
Yeah.
Won't you?
Do you know what people say? I queued up for this pizza restaurant. Why?
Yeah. Now look, there must be something.
I swear to God,
there must be something.
I've never done queues.
You know what I really hate the queues for? When you go to a theme park and then for a 1-minute ride you have to queue for like 2 hours.
No, you have to get the queue
I'm not
jump.
having any of that. Not having any of that.
You queue for an ice cream on the beach, surely.
Oh yes.
That would be worth it.
Maybe 3 people in front of you.
Let's see who's in front of Alex.
Okay.
Right, Alex. Hello. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Eamonn. You might not be a fan of queuing, but let me tell you, there's already about 6,100 people in the queue to get tickets to Wimbledon today. And that number in the previous years has been as high as about 12,000. So in typical British fashion, you know, those tennis fans have not been put off by those lengthy queues. And we're on our way down there now. We're just outside Southfield Station at the moment. Hundreds have already been flocking through these doors. The queue started at 2 p.m. yesterday. Like Paul mentioned, people turn up with their tents. You're only allowed a two-man tent, of course, and you're only allowed one ticket per person. But nothing is putting off these tennis fans to get here today, just for the chance to get to see some of their favourite stars in action. Tickets, you can get sort of centre court tickets today. They release about 500 tickets per centre court, court 1 and 2. But most people are probably going to end up with grounds tickets. So they're able to go in, mull around the hill, take in the action from the sort of higher number courts. Tickets for the main courts are going to probably set you back between about 75 to 105 pounds. If you want to go to court number 1, you're looking at 70 to 90 pounds, or if you want to go in amongst the grounds, you're looking at about 30 pounds. But like we say, they only have a finite number of tickets to sell, but it's still not putting off the thousands of tennis fans who are making their way down here today.
It really is. I mean, you've done it, haven't you? I mean,
oh yeah, Alex, I've been one of these people. Yeah, I've done the overnight on Wimbledon Common.
Which is all very nice when the weather's nice. I mean, how many people have you actually seen the queue yet, Alex? Because we've seen it. There's over 6,000 people. And like you say, there's 500 tickets are available for centre court. So just to be there, it's incredible.
We're on our way to the queue now, so I've not actually been to the actual queue itself. But if anything, judging by Southfield Station is to go by, it's going to be absolutely heaving, and temperatures are set to hit about the mid-30s, 33, 34 degrees. My head's probably going to get very, very sunburned, but, you know, it's all worth it to get involved in the atmosphere with all those tennis fans. It's a big day, biggest day in tennis, biggest day of tennis of the year.
It is. I used to be, I was assigned by the BBC as a reporter, and the thing is, of course, they had access to all the courts. Of course. So I could be, you know, what Alex is doing today, except I'd be doing it from centre court. And it was really a great experience, Alex. It really was hallowed. You actually felt you were somewhere that was special, really special.
You used to get special stuff, though, in the press. You get a bag and all the goodies in the press office. I don't know if they do that anymore. The freebies, it's great.
No, I never got that.
Get yourself in there, Alex. Get some free stuff. That's what you need. It's not very expensive, spending all the money on the strawberries. Get some free things.
Well, I could be spending money on a couple of hats. There's a couple of vendors over the road already trying to capitalise on all of the fans that are turning up, selling their hats. There are taxis there, shouting out, heckling deals. You know, everybody's trying to make a bit of money and capitalise on all these fans.
OK, well, you get going and get your place reserved, and we'll speak to you throughout the whole programme and throughout the whole day today, Alex. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
He'll be astounded by the organisation down there. I mean, it's amazing.
Oh, it is
the way
incredible.
they do it.
It is amazing. You know how much that I was looking, though, at prices of tickets. So
I've paid a lot more than that.
Well, that's
those are not bad prices.
If you do the queue and you're prepared for that, then, as Alex says, you know, you'd pay the normal prices to get in. I went on one of these ticketing websites, a well-renowned ticketing website, Centre Court. So if you want to buy a ticket today for Centre Court, Monday, the first Monday, 2,109 they start
Just for a ticket?
Just for a ticket.
That's not buying you a meal or anything?
No, and this is not even the best seat. You know, you could be sat at the back there. And how about this one? The men's final. So you're thinking, I want to buy a ticket for the men's final. They started on this website £11,200. Someone was selling a ticket for 27 grand.
Oh,
isn't that outrageous?
It's silly money.
27,000, who would? But anyway, today, Carlos Alcaraz plays against Fabio Fognini. Now, the Brits, we've got Katie Boulter, plays Paula Badosa, who's the number 9 from Spain. Jacob Fernley is playing. Emma Raducanu plays, but it's an all-British affair. She's playing a 17-year-old, Mimi Zhu, who's from Swansea. Cameron Norrie plays Roberto Bautista Agut, who is famous for beating Andy Murray in Australia. That time he supposedly was about to retire before the other brace and then didn't. Sonny Cartel plays, Oliver Tarvett plays, so everybody's out there, and this is probably the best day to go because
This is a
if
great
you get
day
in
to go.
there, everybody's in. But it all begins with the champion, who I think probably will win again, Carlos Alcaraz.
Alcaraz.
I went, well, I'm thinking the last time I went as a, punter, and I was with Jill Dando on a beautiful day like this, yeah. And we did a lot of socialising that day around there and watched a bit of tennis. It is a beautiful affair, beautiful affair.
Yeah, Wimbledon's so special.
There's nothing like
Yeah, it's so quintessentially British. I just love it.
There is nothing like it. It's just, it's like I said,
Great day
it's
out.
going to be so hot.
OK, my friend. So we'll speak to you again later and we'll get some more Wimbledon atmosphere coming your way at home. Thank you very much indeed. The papers, Dawn Neeson, Chris Akabusi.
I'm scared to see what they're getting up to. Oh, there you go. Morning, you two.
And while we wait on them, here is the forecast for some of the top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Temperatures remain above average across much of Europe over the next few days. Plenty of sunshine to come as well, but sunshine's not everywhere. Cloudier skies for parts of Madeira down into the Canary Islands. 1 or 2 light showers are possible, but much of the Mediterranean will be sunny, though some thunderstorms possible across the Alps on Tuesday afternoon. 1 or 2 showers for eastern Greece into Turkey, but otherwise plenty of hot sunshine, and there's very little change over the next few days. Temperatures above average.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
What is the state of our economy? What is the state of our National Health Service? What is the state of our schools? What on earth is going on? Understanding Britain means understanding the state we are in. This is State of the Nation with me, Matt Goodwin, Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays from 8 p.m. on GB News.
I'm Camilla Tominey. This is GB News, Britain's election channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
And Tom, look what I received this morning.
This is so sweet.
Oh! Isn't that cute? From one of our viewers and listeners. A little, I think it's homemade.
Shall I hold it up?
Yeah, you hold it up. And a little tiny matching hat as well, which is very cute. Goes up here. So there you go, a little matching hat. And also a lovely little blanket as well. Wow. This is from Judith from Leeds, who wrote me a lovely little letter, and to Patrick as well, wishing us well, saying that she loves watching our shows, and I hope we enjoy this little outfit. So there you go.
It's like your little baby is with us already.
So yes, Judith, I hope you're watching, because thank you very much indeed. It's really sweet of you to send that to me. It took a little while to get to us, but we've got it this morning, so that's so cute.
It's incredible craftsmanship, actually.
I'll make sure to take a little picture when the baby arrives.
Are you sure your baby isn't going to be French?
It's something French around it. It's a good thing I like France, so there you go.
Oui, oui.
That's very cute indeed. I just thought I'd say thank you, because it was a really nice surprise this morning.
Yeah, no, it is actually really, really lovely. It does, I mean...
To bring a tear to your eye, Tom.
Well, we haven't really...
Feeling very emotional.
I was going to say... We haven't really mentioned, your pregnancy in a little while. And
after the big reveal. After the big reveal.
You're still with us for a few months more before your due date.
I have to depart, yes. Yeah. Don't worry, you've got me for a little longer. We'll see how it goes.
Marvellous
See how it goes. It'll be rolling me in. Before I leave this desk.
It'll be a GB baby.
GB News baby. GB baby.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
He's not just a presenter, he's an award-winning television icon. A household name for decades, from GMTV to This Morning, and now waking up Britain on GB News Breakfast. Join Eamonn Holmes, TV royalty and multiple Trick Award winner, as we bring you the news that matters. This isn't just breakfast TV, this is GB News Breakfast. Every morning from 6 a.m. on GB News.
Front pages of the papers. Let's run through those, first of all, beginning with the Times.
Lisa's Keir Starmer making a final attempt to convince MPs to back cuts to disability benefits ahead of tomorrow's vote.
Sun, the Prime Minister condemning Glastonbury act Bob Vyland's performance as he's accused of hate speech.
The heat is on, says the Daily Mirror, as parts of England are set to reach temperatures higher than Barbados.
And The Guardian, Labour's welfare rebellion. They talk as backbenchers are now plotting to protest over family farm tax as well, with their views on those headlines and more. Chris Hakabusi and Dawn Neeson. Very
Morning.
nice to see you both.
Morning.
Chris, where would you stand on, what was this guy's name? Bob Vyland? Never heard of him. Right, so never heard of him. Now we're all talking about him. What's your take on him?
Well, that in itself is a statement. You've never heard of him.
Have you heard of him?
Neither have I.
Well, now we all have, haven't we?
Absolutely. So this person who was insignificant to the majority of people has in one foul swoop, through foul statements, made himself probably a global person of knowledge, of renown. Look, I mean, obviously the statement he made about death to anybody is vile, it's crass, uncalled for. Dawn and I were talking earlier on in the green room about then the crowd going we have to then understand that there is, underneath it all, a discontent with many people in the United Kingdom, if not in the world, with the way that the government in Israel is prosecuting its war against the civilians in Gaza.
OK, let's hear from Dawn.
OK, where do we even start with this? For a start, it's the BBC that are in trouble over this because they live stream the whole thing, and it's like, well, you know, and Glastonbury are going, well, we didn't know there were going to be that. The BBC say, well, we didn't know that was going to happen. Now, the BBC have championed this act for a long time, for over 10 years now, so they know exactly what this act were like. They have sung songs about killing the Queen, that they hate Britain.
Well, was this kneecap you're talking about?
No,
now?
I'm talking about Bob Dylan. Obviously named after Bob Dylan, who is obviously Jewish. So, you know, both with Glastonbury and the BBC knew exactly what this act were like. I completely agree that all acts, you're there to get publicity, OK? And let's hope that all the money they've made from Glastonbury and all this publicity, they're, of course, given to the poor, starving people in Gaza, which is where the money should be. Of course they're not. This was all about raising publicity. Congratulations, it's done it. But the thing is with this, it's death threats. And the bottom line is that is potentially unlawful under the Public Order Act. So what happens now is whether they will get prosecuted. We all know lots of comparisons over the weekend to Lucy Connolly, you know, who posted one tweet online and she's serving 31 months for that. In theory, yes, free speech. Well, in that case, that applies to Lucy Connolly as well as it applies to Bob Dylan. Should Lucy Connolly be serving time? Should these be now prosecuted for what they said? Did the same rules have to apply?
No.
We seem to have two-tier justice.
No. Lucy Connolly, when she made her tweet, there was an active riot going on in the northwest of the country, and whether knowingly or not, that could have caused even more devastation in that area at that time. Whereas this guy, as vile as it is in a festival in Glastonbury, where there is a conflict over in Israel, but here, where he was in Glastonbury, that wasn't going to happen. So the reason
you know what? No, but I would say, you want to ask a Jewish person that was in that audience how they felt about that. Because
So there's nobody. I mean, certainly, no one's saying that what that guy did was great or cool, in any way, shape, or form. But you just tried to make a false equivalence between Connolly.
No. If you're inciting hatred, which is what he's doing, you're inciting hatred.
Well, if he had an opinion, if he was able to say, just before we begin singing, I'd just like to say we're thinking of all the people in Palestine who are undergoing bombardment and whatever. Would he be within his rights to say that?
If he came with a warning and said that?
No, if he just was peaceable about it and he thought, you know, like, I'm really worried about people in Palestine.
No, absolutely, of course. I mean, we're all worried about people in Palestine. Yeah. No one likes what's going on in Palestine. As Chris just said, what Netanyahu is doing in Palestine is appalling. We should not be killing civilians. Nobody wants to see that. However, inciting
you shouldn't be saying kill Netanyahu's soldiers.
It's literally the death threats.
OK. All right, guys. Right, now, what are we going to talk about? Keir Starmer. So anyway, he's so busy with foreign affairs, he's forgetting about his benefits bill, and that's going to be voted on tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's the point. He himself has now said, yeah, you know, I was wrapped up in the G7 and the NATO summit. And
he's trying to be honest, isn't he, with this? But it's backfiring.
Well, it's
he took his eyes off the ball.
Well, it's backfiring. I mean, funnily enough, I just ChatGTP, where the Emily Maitlis thing, where he was asked where would he rather be, Davos or Westminster. This is 2023, and he said, his quote is, Westminster is just a tribal shouting place. Once you get out of Westminster, whether it's Davos or anywhere else, you actually engage with people that you can see working with in the future. Now, for me, the point there is you actually engage with people that you can see working with in the future. How about engaging with the people in the United Kingdom who voted you in a position to look after each and every single one of us, rather than being this grand person on this world stage? So yeah, he's put his own foot in his own mouth, and the chicken's coming home to roost. So yeah, you're right. There was a thing going on while he was away doing what he really wants to do, to be on the global stage.
Good point. Yeah, absolutely. And because I was distracted. Yeah. Hello, you're the Prime Minister. You've got one job: be the Prime Minister.
Correct. That's what that's what we voted you in for. To lead and look after us.
I mean, you know, the welfare bill goes for Parliament this week. So many U-turns. I mean, the welfare bill, grooming gangs, national insurance, the freebie gate. Remember freebie gate?
Yeah. But there's questions about his briefing as well and his closed circle. Because if he is at NATO and he is distracted, then his closed circle should be saying, look, there's a rebellion brewing.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to say this. Instead, he's saying they're pretty united on it.
There's no way that he did not know that it was kicking off at home.
I agree
absolutely.
with you.
But he was just hoping that if he buries his head in the sand, somebody else will take care of it.
OK.
Yeah.
Let's just take care of Dawn and Chris, and I'll bring them back in about 40 minutes' time. Meanwhile, let's find out just how good today is going to be. Well, we say good, but a lot of people can mean that as bad.
No, it's incredible. It's hotter than Barbados.
It's incredible. If you like heat.
Which we do. And we're welcoming it with open arms.
Good morning, Greg Dewhurst.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. It's a northwest-southeast split across the UK today. Some heavy rain pushing in across Northern Ireland and Scotland, but elsewhere it's generally dry with some sunny spells. This morning we do have thicker cloud already across Northern Ireland into Scotland, some western fringes of England and Wales as well. Rain moving in across Northern Ireland, western Scotland as we move through into the afternoon. Some of this could be heavy at times, but plenty of sunshine further south and east, particularly across central southeastern parts of England and Wales. And here temperatures reaching around 34, possibly even 35 Celsius, a little fresher further north and west. Temperatures the high teens to low 20s. In any sunshine, still around 24 or 25 Celsius. This evening time, we zoom into Scotland. We've got some heavy rain pushing eastwards across northern and western parts. There could be some localised disruption as we move through the evening rush hour. Some of that heavy rain also extending into Northern Ireland. Temperatures generally the high teens to low 20s. Plenty of sunshine, though, across England and Wales. The heat of the afternoon into the evening could spark one or two heavy showers, but most of us will stay dry. Perhaps still a little low cloud around some western coasts. And then through the evening and overnight, this weather front just slowly pushes its way southeastwards, though starts to fizzle out. Some fresher air behind it across Scotland and Northern Ireland overnight, staying warm and humid further southeast across England and Wales. Temperatures remaining in the high teens, perhaps locally low 20s down here, but much fresher. You can see 10, 11 Celsius there in the northwest. This weather front very slow moving into Tuesday across central parts of the UK, thick enough for some rain. Hot and humid to the southeast of this, again 35 Celsius possible. To the northwest, fresher but drier with sunny spells across Northern Ireland and Scotland. And generally for everyone, winds will be light. In the sunshine, as I mentioned, strong UV this time of year, 34 or 35 Celsius possible.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed Home Battery Storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A90 remains closed between Invernetti and A950 roundabout due to roadworks. Drivers should follow the diversion. On the A48M westbound between Pound Hill Overbridge and Junction 29A at St Mellons, maintenance has closed the road with diversions. In Thurrock, a collision on the M25 clockwise between Junction 31 and Junction 1A has closed 2 lanes, causing a 15-minute delay. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and Transpennine Express face disruptions between Carlisle and Glasgow Central or Edinburgh. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
£54,321 cash could be yours. Cash that you could spend however you like. It's like having an extra £1,000 each week for a whole year to play with. Someone is guaranteed to win this amazing amount of cash. So make sure that someone could be you. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. That's State of the Nation every Monday and Tuesday at 8 o'clock, only on GB News, the People's Channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
To all of you who voted for GB News to win at the Trick Awards for the 3rd year in a row.
So thank you so much for voting for us.
First, and hopefully there'll be a few more to come down the line.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's because of you that we're proud to be the People's Channel. It's because of you that we are Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Is the Prime Minister losing control of his MPs?
Up to 50 of his backbenchers threatened to rebel against tomorrow's welfare bill, despite the government making significant concessions.
And dozens more could exploit the situation to mount a protest against the inheritance tax on family farms.
After a series of policy reversals, is the PM's grip on power slipping away?
Glastonbury comes to a close, but the controversy rumbles on as the police assess a performer's chance of death to the Israeli military. Is it time that the BBC pulled the plug on its Glastonbury coverage? We're going to be debating that in about 20 minutes' time.
Stand by for the heat wave today. It will be in full force as Britain will be hotter than Barbados.
Prince William gives an update on his initiative to end homelessness. We find out what's in store for Homewood's future.
And could it be the hottest start to Wimbledon ever? Crowds making their way as we speak to the world's oldest tennis tournament. And we will be talking to some of the attendees.
So, more Britons playing at Wimbledon since 1984. So it's a new record. Lionesses in football have scored 7 in their final warm-up game before the Euro start of the weekend. And Chris Eubank Jr. against Conor Benn. The rematch is on for September.
There's a northwest-southeast split with our weather over the next 24 hours, with temperatures rising across the southeast. Find out how high they'll go later on with me.
Monday morning, a very good morning to you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
So we're all full of Wimbledonitis.
We are. I've got Wimbledonitis.
Yes.
Because I'm feeling a bit chilly, I think that's what it is.
It is chilly in
It's
here.
Wimbledon fever. It's tennis fever.
But I remember as a kid and a teenager, you just used to get a tennis racket for these 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Everybody. Do they still do that? I don't know whether people do that anymore.
You played in the street. We played in the street. We played up against walls and things like that.
The thing is, go down. You'd see all these people at Wimbledon fortnight.
Yeah.
After 2 days, they'd get all the whites on. They'd have their Fred Perry shirts on. Go down to the local tennis courts, which were down in the park. That were all gravelly. So if you landed on your knees, you'd take all the skin off, and everybody would be out there like that. Really, really badly. Do you remember, this is a weird one, do you remember Wilf Lunn? Is that a name that rings a bell?
No.
Remember Vision On? Do you remember Vision On?
Vision On, yes.
There was a guy...
That was Tony Hart, wasn't it?
Yeah, but there was the inventor. There was a guy who had red...
Oh, yes,
do you remember? And he used to do this...
Yes, I've got you, yep.
Anyway, he reminded me, or this reminded me of him, something that Wimbledon have put together to publicise this tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Have a look at this. I think this is fantastic. Now, watch this.
The stage is set for an exciting start here at the All England Club. We are expecting a bright start to the day with plenty of sunshine and plenty of cream for your strawberries.
Right, strawberries. Everything's there.
Think of the brains it takes to put all that together.
It really is excellent. And you know what? It looks like this is all actually done together, although it probably isn't, but it looks like it's all done in one go.
Is it real life, do you think? Or is it AI?
I don't want to think it's AI. I don't want to think. But what's really clever about it is that all these different things that Wimbledon are known for, from the strawberries to the yellow balls, there's the towel, the famous towel, they're going for about 50, 60 quid. They're really expensive. Everybody wants to buy the towel. And there we are. And this keeps going. So I don't know how it's going to end. There we are. Ball boy.
Very good.
To the gates.
The gates, yeah.
Swings round. The gates are open. There is only one Wimbledon.
And there is only one Wimbledon.
It's true. And no other tennis competition competes, I don't think.
Absolutely.
And do you know what I think is really good about it? They play in whites.
I like that too.
Yeah.
They look very smart.
Did you know?
What?
when yellow balls, they started playing with yellow balls, because they used to play with white balls.
Yes.
Remember that?
Why yellow?
Schlesinger, by the way, since 1902, always used a Schlesinger ball. The yellow balls, they only started using those in 1986.
Yeah. Why are they yellow? Is there a reason?
Because it's a nice colour.
Apparently it's easier to see, it's easier to define on TV cameras.
I think so, yeah.
They'll be playing with orange balls in golf soon, I would say.
Do you think so? Yeah. Well, you know what? With golf, though, why you think they'd invent a bull that could be found, that could beep. But why wouldn't they do that? Because then they would never sell any bulls.
Yes,
because you always keep the same one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, I've got a ridiculous amount of Wimbledon facts for you.
Great, I love Wimbledon facts.
See you shortly for that.
See you shortly.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Crisis point for the Prime Ministers. Around 50 MPs are still set to rebel against the welfare bill tomorrow.
Well, Sir Keir Starmer actually admitted in an interview that he lost control of the welfare revolt due to his focus on foreign affairs.
Now, this comes as a polling guru said this was the worst start of any newly elected Prime Minister.
So, is it only a matter of time now before the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, makes her bid to take the top spot?
Here with his view on that, the economics editor at The Spectator magazine, Michael Simmons. Good to see you, Michael.
Good to see you.
What do you think? Do you think there is an opportunity for Angela Rayner in all of this, or are we being a bit premature here?
I think we probably are being a little bit premature. I think the sort of prime ministerial authority draining away happens slowly and all at once, and then all at once. I think it would take, an event potentially at some of the elections next year before anyone would think about making, some kind of challenge. You do have to remember that for all the trouble Keir is in with this rebellion, he did win a majority that was twice the size of Boris Johnson's. So I don't think there's any realistic prospect of any sort of leadership challenge immediately. It's just that with every U-turn he makes, with every concession he has to make to his backbench MPs, they grow more powerful and his authority starts to win.
Does Angela Rayner not fit the bill, fit the job description sort of thing? She seems to be more socialist and... What's your take?
Well, Angela Rayner is certainly the most popular Labour politician among Labour members. I think there are people that think that she would be a better challenger to Nigel Farage in terms of going for working-class voters because she just is a more sort of ordinary person than Sir Keir Starmer is. And she's definitely popular, but I don't think she's going to make any kind of move right now. I think it's too early and not the right time for that.
We're talking about 50 rebels still in place for tomorrow. I mean, whichever way you look at it, his authority has been damaged by this, hasn't it? Do you think it's opened the door to more U-turns and more rebels?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think, this started with the U-turn on the winter fuel payment. We've now got the benefits U-turn, and we hear today as well that they're pushing for a U-turn on this inheritance tax on farmers. And I think every time the rebels, the backbench MPs, win, it becomes easier to rebel. The first time you go against the party line, the party whip must be a difficult thing to do. But I think the more and more you do it, and if you see it as, being a successful method of politics, it's going to happen more and more, which is why, Starmer's government is in a bit of trouble.
Well, let's get some analysis on that from Katie Balls. Katie Balls is the Washington editor, newly appointed of The Times. Congratulations to you, Katie, and thank you for coming to see us here in the studio in London. You heard what Michael had to say there. Donald Trump, he's a new president, well, sort of. What's Starmer not getting right that Trump is getting right?
Well, Donald Trump's currently trying to get his big, beautiful bill, as he would call it, through Congress and the Senate. And that has actually been quite uphill for him. But at every stage, they do get the votes. I mean, the systems are quite different. I think that for now, Donald Trump still commands the support of Republicans, even who disagree with him on various issues, partly because he looks as though he's very powerful. He looks as though he has strength. So I think probably the comparison is because Keir Starmer looks like he changes his mind sometimes from a place of weakness. I think even though Donald Trump changes his mind all the time, he does so almost so brazenly and so confidently that it isn't perceived in the way I think that Keir Starmer giving a series of interviews saying, oh, I did get that wrong, that was a mistake. Donald Trump would never say he made a mistake. He'd just say, well, I've just changed the world.
Where do the two of you stand on Starmer hitching his wagon to Trump? I mean, if he sees Trump as all the things that Katie described him as, strong and whatever it is, does he think that if he keeps in well with Trump, this is good for him?
Well, I think where Starmer is having success is on the world stage, and he clearly enjoys that. They've managed to get what they wanted from NATO. Trump says, nice things about him, and I think he thinks this is where he's comfortable. So he's obviously trying to make more of the foreign affairs stuff rather than the problems at home.
Yeah, there their relationship has been a surprise, hasn't it, Katie? Because there was a sense of nervousness about, well, the whole of the front bench, really, and their previous comments about Donald Trump. But actually, Sir Keir Starmer and President Trump seem to have a very good relationship.
They do, and I think it surprised even some around Donald Trump and parts of the Make America Great Again movement. You know, as you say, there's a lot of criticism in Washington, D.C. from Republicans at the state of the UK. They will say things to you about, you know, isn't it awful what's happening to freedom of speech where you are? Is it really as bad as they say on grooming gangs? How has this happened? And yet, you have such a warm relationship between Donald Trump and the UK Prime Minister. And people say, I'm not quite sure why they get on, but Donald Trump really does like him. And I think some say Donald Trump likes people who appear well, put effort into their appearance and speak well.
He likes his accent, doesn't he? Do you
He does
remember
like
that
the
from
accent, and
the
he
Oval
also
Office?
likes Peter Mandelson's accent. So there's something to be said. Maybe the soft power is the British accent these days in DC.
Do you think the special relationship here will be a saving grace for Starmer at home?
I'm not sure about at home. I mean, I think that certainly the UK government has made the calculation that it's very important to keep the US on side. But we saw with the Iran strikes, the fact that the Keir Starmer only had an hour's notice, right? It may have been more notice than other European countries got, but I think that did catch certain members around Keir Starmer off guard. And it means that often Keir Starmer's having to change the line on things that he's not kept in the loop about, and that is a bit tricky. But you do get things like the UK-US trade deal, and while you can critique parts of it, did it go far enough? The UK is in a better position than a lot of countries.
Except he's in for another U-turn, another policy reversal. This time. What way does that look, Michael?
So they've made the concessions that we talked about last week on benefits, which in a way are actually going to cause more problems down the line. It's going to cost, you know, nearly £2 billion what they're putting back, which they're going to have to pay for come the autumn. But also, it changes the system and creates an incentive for you to stay on sickness benefit and not get better, because what they're looking at doing is if you're already receiving your PIP payments, then you wouldn't be reassessed under the new rules, and it would only affect new claimants.
Yeah.
So under those conditions, why would you ever, you know, want to improve your situation, because you're just going to lose this money? So he's made things even worse in that sense. And I think it all stems from the fact that none of it's presented with a vision. It was all just about making the sums add up. And I think when you do things like that, it is easier for Labour MPs to say, I didn't come into politics to make the sums to add up. I didn't come into politics to cut benefits. So I think, you know, possibly more concessions and more U-turns on these kind of policies are on the way.
And Katie, from your new job so far, what do you know about American people, the American public, knowing who Keir Starmer is? Do you think if you showed them a picture of Keir Starmer, they would actually, the man and woman on the street, would know who he is?
I think maybe 1 in 4 chance they would. I think, at least amongst Republicans, Nigel Farage is best known. And definitely, I think, has the most cut through of any political leader in the UK. But, of course, I wouldn't say DC speaks for all of America.
OK. Enjoy your job. Safe back to Washington. And thanks very much for coming in to see us. Michael, thank you very much as well.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have your say. Whatever you want, whatever you feel you want to contribute to the whole conversation, we'd like to hear from you.
Now, at 13 minutes past 7, it's time for the Great British Giveaway now, and your chance to win £54,321 in tax-free cash. It could all be yours. Here's Hayley Sparks with all of the details.
We're here at Downhall in Essex to enjoy the finer things in life, and it's your chance to win £54,321 in cash. It's like having an extra £1,000 in your bank account each week for a whole year, which means that you'd be able to indulge in treats whenever you wanted to. That extra cash each week could send some of those day-to-day financial stresses packing this year to enable you to sit back, relax and do nothing. Make sure you don't miss out on our biggest cash giveaway to date.
For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Right, so now we're going to get out and about and find out what the weather situation is. They reckon maybe could be tipping 35 degrees. Is it going your way? Here's Greg.
Even though we'll see a cloudy start, it'll be a bright outlook for the rest of the day. Boxed Solar, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. It's a northwest-southeast split across the UK today. Some heavy rain pushing in across Northern Ireland and Scotland, but elsewhere it's generally dry with some sunny spells. This morning we do have thicker cloud already across Northern Ireland into Scotland, some western fringes of England and Wales as well. Rain moving in across Northern Ireland, western Scotland as we move through into the afternoon. Some of this could be heavy at times, but plenty of sunshine further south and east, particularly across central southeastern parts of England and Wales. And here temperatures reaching around 34, possibly even 35 Celsius, a little fresher further north and west. Temperatures the high teens to low 20s. In any sunshine, still around 24, 25 Celsius. This evening time, we zoom into Scotland. We've got some heavy rain pushing eastwards across northern and western parts. There could be some localised disruption as we move through the evening rush hour. Some of that heavy rain also extending into Northern Ireland. Temperatures generally the high teens to low 20s. Plenty of sunshine, though, across England and Wales. The heat of the afternoon into the evening could spark one or two heavy showers, but most of us will stay dry. Perhaps still a little low cloud around some western coasts. And then through the evening and overnight, this weather front just slowly pushes its way southeastwards, though starts to fizzle out. Some fresher air behind it across Scotland and Northern Ireland overnight, staying warm and humid further southeast across England and Wales. Temperatures remaining in the high teens, perhaps locally low 20s down here, but much fresher. You can see 10, 11 Celsius there in the northwest. This weather front very slow moving into Tuesday across central parts of the UK, thick enough for some rain. Hot and humid to the southeast of this, again 35 Celsius possible. To the northwest, fresher but drier with sunny spells across Northern Ireland and Scotland. And generally for everyone, winds would be light. In the sunshine, as I mentioned, strong UV this time of year, 34 or 35 Celsius possible.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Now, up next on the programme, Glastonbury finished last night, but the backlash rages on. We're debating whether the BBC should be airing what we get to see here on the festival. OK, that's next.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive.
I mean, this is very good.
It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
What is the state of our economy? What is the state of our National Health Service? What is the state of our schools?
What on earth is going on?
Understanding Britain means understanding the state we are in. This is State of the Nation with me, Matt Goodwin, Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays from 8 p.m. on GB News.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
So the Glastonbury Festival has finished for another year, and they say they are appalled by the actions of punk band Bob Vylan. So wait a minute. Bob Vylan or
Bob Vylan. Bob Vylan.
That's a group. It's
Yeah,
not a person.
it's a rap duo. Or a punk duo.
Okay, anyway.
Yes.
But this is why he had these chants, death to the Israeli Defence Force, okay? And they say that crossed the line. Have a listen.
Free, free! Free, free! Alright, but have you heard this one, though? Death, death to the IDF! 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 Death, death to the IDF!
Well, to start with, I didn't actually think anyone was chanting back, but they were, weren't they? It was loud.
Well, here in the studio, Krish Kandia, who's founder of the Sanctuary Foundation, and James Price, former Conservative advisor. James, does that repel you, repulse you, make your blood boil? What do you think?
Yeah, all of the above. I mean, first of all, they were rubbish. I mean, it was really poor quality stuff. And one of the songs, the guy just chants, I hear you want your country back, F word, no, you can't have that. So, and he just said that sort of 10 times in a row. Now, that's both rubbish musically and a pretty, I think, actually unpleasant and incendiary bit of language, where there are lots of people who do feel that there are broiling social problems and would like their country back. Nigel Farage went so far as to tweet, if you vote Reform, you can have your country back. And I suspect that Reform will play clips from this idiot over and over and over again. And then, of course, you've got the fact that he's trying to get a crowd at a music festival to chant death to the IDF. The IDF being the Israeli Defence Forces, who had to go into the Nova Festival in Israel a couple of years ago, a music festival where a bunch of scumbag terrorists went in to murder people at a music festival. And I think that's ghastly, just for starters.
Yeah.
But I think, Krish, that they would have chanted anything. Just, you know, that crowd was in such a way that no matter what you said, they would have chanted anything.
Yeah, I think you're right, Eamonn. Can I compliment James on his outfit today? Looking very, very smooth.
It's like looking in a mirror.
It is. Look, what was said was completely inappropriate. And the Eavis family put out a statement which said, look, as a festival, we stand against all forms of war and terrorism. We will always believe in and actively campaign for hope, unity, peace and love. So they're beside themselves with this thing. But I think there's something important here. There have been calls in some areas to ban the BBC from, or stop the BBC from showing Glastonbury. But I don't think we want to live in a cancel culture. I think we want to live in a place where there is freedom of speech. I think there are ways around what happened yesterday. Yeah. They tried to cancel, well, they stopped broadcasting Kneecap. So there wasn't live to the audience, to the nation, because they were worried they would say things that were incendiary. This is another band. Maybe some due diligence could have been done beforehand, because, you know, this isn't completely out of character for them. It's within their realm. Two guys called Bob is an interesting setup for a band, not my kind of music. But I think it is important there's space for freedom of speech. And this is one of our premier cultural events in the year. Why wouldn't the BBC want to broadcast?
But why was it live streamed? I think there are questions to the BBC here. Why was it live streamed when we know their lyrics are well known? I mean, they're talking about digging up Margaret Thatcher in one of their songs and asking for milk back. So you know what this band is all about. And then why, when that chant started, why wasn't the live stream cut?
Yeah, I think that's a really fair question for the BBC. That one mistake doesn't mean you don't broadcast Glastonbury. And look, there is place for music and protest. I'm going to be celebrating this year the 70th anniversary of Rosa Parks sat on a bus that ended segregation on the bus companies and started the civil rights movement in America. And you look at the relationship between people like Bob Dylan and Nina Simone. They drove the revolution that undid some really unjust things. So we should expect there to be politics at Glastonbury and rock music, but this was a step too far.
Well, Bob Dylan, who take their funny name from Bob Dylan, explicitly say that Bob Dylan, one of the greatest musical acts of all time, isn't an influence on them. Perhaps he should be. Right? Nothing these guys have done is anything different from someone like Rage Against the Machine were doing 35 years ago. It's just, I think, as I said, it was rubbish music. And whilst I agree with you completely on cancel culture, there's no need for the BBC, which, by the way, forces you to pay for it if you ever want to watch live television, even if you never, like me, watch the BBC, should have to platform these people, shouldn't have to give all this money to Glastonbury. And Glastonbury makes a big song and dance about being very lefty and progressive and lovey, and you see banners held up saying things like, I don't see any borders here, do you? Which they pin on the massive security gates, because it's harder to get into Glastonbury than seemingly it is to get into the country. And of course, the Eavis family talk a big game on this stuff. It's just been announced that Michael Eavis has given away all of Glastonbury to his daughter. Why? In order to avoid the inheritance tax problems that Labour are putting in. And you mentioned Kneecap as well. This is a band who are named after a terrorist attack torture technique from the IRA. And although they might not have been screened on the BBC, they did lead the chant. This is a bunch of Irishmen, not Brits, shouting F-word Keir Starmer. Now, I don't like Keir Starmer very much, but I just think it's pretty poor form for these people to be chanting about this, of the leader, democratically elected leader of a country in which they are guests. And I just think when you have more and more people like this, right, I just think this is absolutely rubbish. And BBC should probably get rid of them. And if they don't, they should give some of, maybe GB News, a big set up on the main stage as well for a bit of balance.
Am I odd or alone in thinking that if I went to a music festival like this, I just want to hear music?
I think most people would agree with that. Can you escape from politics at Glastonbury, do you think? Or do you think it is to be expected that things like this would happen?
Well, I think it's a reasonably new phenomenon for it to get this political, right? And it's all happened when Jeremy Corbyn got up on stage in 2017 and people were chanting him and all this sort of stuff. This being the same Jeremy Corbyn, of course, who the Labour Party had to kick out after admitting that he'd made them institutionally anti-Semitic. Fast forward a few years and someone is screaming for the death of the Israeli Defence Forces. It's not a great look here, is it? And I think there are some real problems, and it doesn't seem to count when it's against Jewish people or Israelis. It's weird, that.
Krish?
Look, what happened on the stage was completely out of order, but we want our country to engage in politics. We often decry the apathy that there is out there, particularly amongst young people. You have a space where young people can engage with politics. For me, it was the Live Aid Festival waking me up to what was going on around the world with the Ethiopian famine. That was a game changer for me. That was an incredibly politically moment where the world gathered and thought it's completely out of order for poverty of this level to go unchallenged. So I think there is a place for protest and music. Musicians often have a great sense of justice, but this was a step too far, and they ought to have a better editorial process about who they select to stand on the stage.
It's also, I mean, you mentioned poverty there, right? Well, how can poverty is normal, right? Poverty is the normal state of affairs, and it's only through things like, I would say, free market capitalism and strong institutions that you get away from that. Were they teaching that at Live Aid? Are they teaching that at this? I just think that if you've got someone screaming and chanting boring platitudes, because these Bob Dylan people also shouted from the river to the sea, which does call for the ethnic cleansing of the entire people of the State of Israel, you're not getting a decent level of political education here. I don't want people going and voting if all they know is, oh, that guy I saw at that festival told me to vote this way. I want people to go and read books and take this stuff seriously if you want them to be politically engaged.
Well, gentlemen, thank you both very much indeed. We've got to get away from both of you now. Thank you for your contribution there. And you, Chris, you would go to Glastonbury?
I've been. I went in 2022. It was amazing. Beautiful sunny weather. My kids came. I think we heard Busted and Lord and Elbow. It was a fantastic event.
And they're probably more well-behaved.
They totally were. Good sense of love and justice and peace.
Where do you stand, James? Would you be allowed in?
I can't think of anything worse. Spotify account, that's all I need.
Oh, no.
I'm with you.
We'll have our own festival.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Thank you both very much indeed. Right, OK, we can now go live to the Shadow Minister for Work and Pensions, Danny Kruger. Danny, I don't know if you got a chance to hear what we were saying, or if you watched any of Glastonbury or this Bob Villain guy and what he came out with yesterday. What do you think about what's going on there?
Well, he's not an artist I'm familiar with, but heard all about him in the last few days. Yeah, I mean, pretty disgraceful that first Glastonbury would host this, secondly that BBC would broadcast it, and thirdly that the crowd would chant along in the way they did. I mean, you know, some infantile artist trying to make himself famous by being anti-Semitic on stage is one thing. It's really distressing that so many people thought it was acceptable to agree with him that we should be inciting the death of IDF soldiers. So, I mean, pretty appalling, and I hope that the police are looking into it now.
So there's already been criticism of the police that they haven't arrested this guy over the appalling hate speech at Glastonbury Festival. And also comparisons being drawn with the case of Lucy Connolly, who was, of course, jailed for 31 months last year for inciting racial hatred after publishing a post on X. Can you see that comparison? What do you make of that? Is it two-tier justice?
Yes, I can. Well, I think it is. I mean, you know, I don't think that the Lucy Connolly sentence was proportionate to her offence. It was wrong what she did, but they really threw the book at her, and they should do the same in this case. I mean, this is, in a sense, more serious. This was a public figure on a public stage inciting the death of others. And listen, I don't know what exactly the appropriate police action should be or what the sentence should be if this artist is convicted, but I think it is important that we take it really, really seriously. We can't give the impression that aggressive and unpleasant messages about one side of our terrible culture war are unacceptable, but on the other side, it's okay to say this sort of thing. So we've got to have balance and fairness. And as I say, I think there's an aggravating factor that this was a very, very public act that this artist was performing.
Danny, what sort of message are you giving out on the benefits bill, which will be voted for tomorrow? Where do the Conservatives stand on this?
Well, we want to see real benefits reform. We are spending way too much, particularly on health and disability benefits. You know, the last government was successful in reducing unemployment benefit claims by getting people into work, but we've got, especially since COVID, millions of people languishing forever, for life, on long-term sickness benefits, and it's not good for them and it's unsustainable for the taxpayer. The problem with the government's reforms is, firstly, they weren't actually properly reforming the system, and they're destroying jobs, of course, as well, so it's very hard to get people into work when you're taking away the jobs they can go to. And now, because they've caved into their backbenchers, we're not really getting any meaningful cuts either. So this is a very weak bill we've got to. You know, they had 14 years to prepare for government. They've had a year in government. And we've now got this pathetic damp squib of a bill. There's still going to be a big rebellion on it. What we're saying is we need to see meaningful reform. We want to see the benefit bill actually come down over time, and we want to see growth in jobs, and we don't want to see new tax rises. If the government can commit to those three conditions, then we'd be prepared to support them in the bill tomorrow, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
No, so will you be voting against the bill tomorrow, the way it stands?
Well, let's see what the government... They're coming out today with more details on actually what their package of proposals are. They're scurrying around trying to rescue their reform package. Let's see what it actually is that goes before the Commons tomorrow, and we'll make our mind up. But as I say, you know, the condition for our support is actual reductions in overall spending, meaningful support to get people into work, and no new tax rises.
Danny, thanks very much indeed. We've got to leave it there. We're out of time. Danny Kruger is the Shadow Minister for Work and Pensions. Appreciate that.
Now, do stay with us. Coming up, it's shaping up to be the hottest start to Wimbledon on record. We're finding out which pros are kicking off the tennis tournament next.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. A traffic incident on the M80 southbound at Junction 6 reduces traffic to one lane. Exercise caution due to delays. The A48M westbound closes for maintenance with diversions. In Greater London, on the M25 anti-clockwise between junctions 26 and 25, a collision causes a 20-minute delay. 2 lanes close on the M25 clockwise in Thurrock between junctions 31 and 1A due to a collision, resulting in a 40-minute delay. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and TransPennine Express face major disruptions between Carlisle and Glasgow Central or Edinburgh. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, and now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
It's time now to go through all the latest sports news. Paul Coit is here with us. Morning.
I love the fact that you were singing the theme from the Wombles. Wimbledon.
Underground, overground, wombling free.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was trying to work out why I knew it, but there was this, a series of episodes in the 90s.
A reboot.
A reboot,
A
exactly,
reboot.
in 97, so that's why.
Because was Tomskin Orinoco was in there, and Great Uncle Bulgaria?
Yeah, the whole gang.
Yeah, everybody, the whole gang was there. Actually, I think
all of the Wombles.
I think they added a few.
Did they?
For the reboot. Yes, they did. Wimbledon. 23 Britons are playing in the Wimbledon Championships, which begins today.
And it's such a pity that Emma Raducanu's drawn against one of them.
I know. What are the chances?
That's a shame. Yeah.
What are the chances?
Wow.
So, I mean, we've got... See, the way they've done it, they've got 23 Britons, most in 41 years. So there's the ranked players, which will get in automatically, which is your Jack Draper and Fernley and Norrie and Harris, and Raducanu and Katie Bolter and Sonny Cartel. Then you have your wild cards, which I think you would be a wild card.
Me?
Yeah, I think you are.
A wild
well, you are a
card.
wild card, though.
Maverick.
Yeah. And then you've got the qualifiers. So today, Carlos Alcaraz begins against Fabio Fognini.
I call it now, he's going to win.
I think he's going to win too.
Yeah.
There's Emma.
It'd be great if Emma wins as well.
But she plays Mimi. This would be interesting. She plays Mimi Zhu. Now, Mimi is 17 and she's from Swansea. First time player. Who knows? May cause an upset. You think so?
No. Emma's got this in the bag.
Cameron Norrie plays Roberto Bautista Agut. Other ones, and Oliver Tarvet. He's the one that we mentioned the other day, who's the world number 719, who qualified. He plays Leandro Ridi of Switzerland. But although, even if he gets knocked out in the first round, you get 66 grand, but he won't get a penny because he's an amateur. And then he plays on the college circuit in America.
So you get 66 grand for being knocked out in the first round?
Yes.
But if you're an amateur, you can't collect it.
That's it. So he can't get any money. So it's all very well. He can think, I'll win this game, and then he can go, well, look what else you could have won had you
Yeah.
Not been.
It's a bit like being on bullseye, isn't it? This
You know what?
This is what you could have won.
That's exactly what it is, because if you get to the second round, you get a speedboat.
Oh, yeah.
What are the chances?
Or a caravan.
Yes, or a caravan. Now, ticket websites, I was talking about this earlier. Now, the queue, and we've got Alex Davis there at the queue at the moment. There's over 7,000 people queuing up for tickets. 500 are available for centre court, so only 500. 500 for number one, and then there's the ground area as well. So there's a lot of tickets which are available, but you've got to be there early, and there's no point turning up.
You've got to
now
sleep overnight.
For centre, it's
if
for
you want to
centre
be on
court
the centre
tickets.
court,
You're not going to stand a chance now.
Yeah.
So when you queued, did you sleep overnight there?
Yeah, in a tent.
Wow.
So what time did you get there?
About 4 p.m.
Really?
It was a long night. Yeah, but we got centre court. It was worth it.
And did you enjoy that?
Loved it. Had the
But
best
were you not
time
exhausted throughout the
ever.
whole thing?
Yeah, I was a bit like a zombie, yeah.
Because I went last year just from getting up at 3 o'clock this morning to come in here.
Yeah.
And then went to Wimbledon afterwards, and I was exhausted. I couldn't enjoy the tennis.
Did
I was
you get
too
in?
tired. Yeah, I got through on the ballot.
You had a ticket.
So you're sitting there and you're nodding off, you're falling asleep.
Yeah, I mean, I waited all this time, and I'm like...
It's a long day.
Now, look, if you want to join, by the way, the easiest way is to become a member of the All England Club. So,
how do you become, can I just ask, how do you become a member of
Would
the
you
All-
like me to... I'll second you if you want.
Well,
Do you need a referral?
Yes, very
Wow.
much. You have to be proposed.
And have you to be able to play tennis?
No.
No?
Proposed, seconded, then supported by 4 full members.
Oh, that's
who are
nice.
required to write their support. The waiting list.
That's hard,
is
isn't
over
it?
1,000 and takes years and years. And who said tennis was elitist? That's what I want to know.
Wow.
It's
Oh.
a game for everybody. But yeah, it depends on where and who and how you speak, I imagine.
Oh, I see. It's who you know.
Although if you do win the competition,
You could find 4
you'll
people
automatically
to
get in there.
refer you.
4 members.
You've got one already.
Of the All England. No, but you have to be a member of the All England Club.
Yeah.
She's not.
Coity is. No.
There's not much chance, no. I couldn't even
Well,
get to
what sort of club would have him as a member?
Really?
He's sporty.
I couldn't even get into the Romford Tennis Association.
Romford
I
Dogs.
wasn't even allowed in there. So the chances of me getting to Wimbledon,
Indeed.
I'm not even allowed in the postcode, let alone to be a member of
You're
the
not allowed in the studio either
Yeah,
till
that's it.
back in an hour. Thank you
That's
very
it.
much.
Done.
Thanks, Coity.
Thank you. And we've got Don Newsom, and we've got Chris Akabusi, and they will be going through the papers and whatever else they're going to be doing
Larking
after
about.
the sunshine in European destinations.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Temperatures remain above average across much of Europe over the next few days. Plenty of sunshine to come as well, but sunshine's not everywhere. Cloudier skies for parts of Madeira down into the Canary Islands. 1 or 2 light showers are possible, but much of the Mediterranean will be sunny, though some thunderstorms possible across the Alps on Tuesday afternoon. 1 or 2 showers for eastern Greece into Turkey, but otherwise plenty of hot sunshine, and there's very little change over the next few days. Temperatures above average.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Welcome to the Bakerloo line, where over the last year, 2 years, every single carriage seems to have been just absolutely covered in graffiti. So we're out this morning to try and do what the Mayor, Sadiq Khan, seemingly can't. Let's clean up the tube. Look, these doors used to be covered in graffiti, but no more. See, it's not impossible.
Not impossible it is, because there is so much that can actually be done. And just a few friends of mine, actually a guy called Joe Reeve, who organised this all, he's from the campaign group Looking for Growth. And he got in touch and said, do I want to come? And I was like, absolutely, I bloomin' do. Because I think we can show some pictures of some of our work, which was just on Sunday morning. And it was actually remarkably simple. What we did was we sprayed the graffiti with sort of anti-graffiti spray, eco-friendly anti-graffiti spray, actually, as it is.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
A bit of scrubbing, and look, it just comes off. I mean, this stuff is not rocket science. A total lack of imagination, a total unwillingness to do anything about the sort of social decay that we're seeing in our cities in the country at the moment. A laziness, a profound laziness and lack of political will at the heart of the governance of London that means that people are just like, oh, the washing machine's broken, we'll just live with this social decay. Well, no, you don't have to live with the social decay. You can come up with new ways to do things. You can give some people some sponges, some water and some graffiti spray and get that stuff off. It's not impossible. Pull your socks up, Sadiq. Do something about it.
GB News, the People's Channel.
What is the state of our economy? What is the state of our National Health Service? What is the state of our schools?
What on earth is going on?
Understanding Britain means understanding the state we are in. This is State of the Nation with me, Matt Goodwin, Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays from 8 p.m. on GB News.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
He's not just a presenter, he's an award-winning television icon. A household name for decades, from GMTV to This Morning, and now waking up Britain on GB News Breakfast. Join Eamonn Holmes, TV royalty and multiple Trick Award winner, as we bring you the news that matters. This isn't just breakfast TV, this is GB News Breakfast. Every morning from 6 a.m. on GB News.
Chris Sakabusi, Don Neeson, the stuff that's making the news today. And although I think we've had enough of this, you two are battling away, Dawn, about Glastonbury.
Yeah, but the good side of Glastonbury, we've got all the controversy. It's on front page of the Mail. BBC chief should face charges over Glastonbury, etc., etc. But there's a good side to Glastonbury as well. And if you were watching last night on the veterans stage, there was Sir Rod Stewart with Ronnie Wood and Lulu. Now, Rod Stewart's 80, Ronnie Wood's a similar age, and Lulu's got to be 76 or something or other. And, you know, OK, they're showing their age, but they were brilliant, and it was just a joyous performance. Yeah. There was nothing, there was no politics. Look, I know you can't keep politics out of rock and roll music. It's been there since the dawn of time.
I think Rod Stewart did some promotion for Nigel Farage.
He said we need to give Nigel Farage a chance. Yeah, that's what he said last week. Yeah,
but all I put last night, the social media thing, what a joyous performance, because it was nice to watch, basically. That's all I meant, right? So, and the abuse you got back.
Well,
because his reform.
Viewer and listener June, why do celebs at these ceremonies think we all care about their political views? They need to get back to doing what they're paid for, entertaining us, not lecturing us.
Did you see Noel Gallagher put out a brilliant tweet about it as well, about how people going on, a bit like the Ricky Gervais one as well. It's sort of like, just get up there, play your guitars and go away, but using slightly stronger language.
Chris, there is a story here. We're talking about these. The welfare system is going to be voted on tomorrow in the House. Some towns have 20%, 1 in 5 people on disability benefits. This is the Telegraph report.
Yeah, and the sort of subheading was numbers receiving free cars because of conditions such as anxiety quadruples in 6 years, analysis finds. Now, anxiety is part and parcel of an existential given. Just by being born in the world, you're going to be anxious, you know, about your surroundings, about people that you meet. It comes with being human and being in the world. So the challenge is what has happened to make us go down this road. Now, the time is between 2019 and 2025. Of course, it is post-COVID and post the virus and a response to it. And I think there's a bit of social conditioning where we got used to, when I say we, I'm talking about the collective, got used to being given money for nothing, money sitting at home. All of a sudden, it seems OK for a cohort, now, got to be careful, for a cohort to just ask the government to give me money. Now, We do need a caring society, and the society is known for how good you are at taking care of those people in their point of need. But we've got a challenge, because how are we going to pay for all of this? That's a challenge. And we've got to ask ourselves, the voters, if we're going to pay for all of this, what are we going to cut? You know, disability, PIP, universal credit, sickness, housing, family welfare, state pension. What is it that we're going to cut? Or, if we don't want to cut anything, are we going to be prepared to be taxed more in order to pay for it? And that's the real discussion that needs to be had.
It's a difficult one. It really is. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I can still work despite what's wrong with me at the moment. But I would dread to think, and I'm just looking at some of the comments coming in. Christine here, she goes to a caravan park on her holidays, and she says there's a couple there who live there full time in the caravan park. They don't work, and they both claim PIP. From what I can see, they're perfectly fine. They walk about, they laugh, living the life of Riley. Well, I suppose we don't know, because we don't know the details of all of that sort of thing.
And not all conditions are visible. You know,
exactly.
Some people have got a lot of challenges that you can't see.
But the numbers are stark, aren't they, Dawn? It's something like 1,000 new claimants every single day.
With the mental health thing, I agree with what Chris was saying. With the mental health increase claims, there's an underlying thing that needs looking at. I mean, the whole system needs looking at, which is what the government are supposed to be doing. With the PIP payments, which is personal independent payments, I mean, they are mainly paid to people who do work, who people need help, you know, people who suffer disabilities but do need help with their working, like getting dressed, transportation, etc. So I think we've got to be very careful how we discuss this, not to demonise people that are trying their hardest and that do genuinely need support.
But you know what, I mean, not that I'm one for spending, but I was looking at the state of hospices the other day, and how there's so much of what they have to pay for themselves. You know, it's not paid for by government. And social care is another area which we need to look at. But goodness me, unbelievable.
Here's something it says in the Telegraph. The condition with the largest absolute increase in the number of people claiming PIP between January 2019 and March was for autism, from 26k to 114k.
1,000 people.
1,000 people.
Okay, right. Wow. Chris, give me your take on entry-level jobs. And this is interesting. Entry-level jobs plunged by a third since the launch of ChatGPT. What is ChatGPT?
So that's
artificial intelligence tool.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, I got introduced to it about 3 or 4 months ago. Once you get into it, I mean, you can ask it anything, and it will search the whole world for information, and it will collate it in a pithy saying as you want to.
Why does people lose their jobs because of that?
Yeah, this is a very good question. Essentially, it is business taking advantage of this opportunity so basically, if you don't have a degree, entry-level jobs now are being taken over by AI stuff, because a company there's no recruitment costs, you don't have to pay for national insurance, you don't have to worry about minimum wage, you get a more efficient and effective operation. So it's what I would say, companies putting profit before people.
Yeah, and is this saying that you have to have the degrees to do these jobs? Is that what it's saying about degrees? I mean, I'm not a believer. I think there's too much emphasis on degrees. I don't think any of us have degrees.
No, quite clearly
not.
Well,
I do now. I certainly didn't when I was 17. I mean, I do now have a master's now, but I didn't have it back then. So, you know, over time you can pick up a degree. But no, your energy, your enthusiasm, your...
Got to wind you up, Chris. And line judges at Wimbledon, of course, we're losing over 200 of them to artificial intelligence.
Absolutely. Every job will be affected.
There are going to be jobs losses, over this. Thank you, you two. We'll see you in the next hour. Let us know what you think on any of those stories. gbnews.com/your say. Let's get a check on the weather now with Greg.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. It's a northwest-southeast split across the UK today. Some heavy rain pushing in across Northern Ireland and Scotland, but elsewhere it's generally dry with some sunny spells. This morning we do have thicker cloud already across Northern Ireland into Scotland, some western fringes of England and Wales as well. Rain moving in across Northern Ireland, western Scotland as we move through into the afternoon. Some of this could be heavy at times, but plenty of sunshine further south and east, particularly across central southeastern parts of England and Wales. And here temperatures reaching around 34, possibly even 35 Celsius, a little fresher further north and west. Temperatures the high teens to low 20s. In any sunshine, still around 24 or 25 Celsius. This evening time, we zoom into Scotland. We've got some heavy rain pushing eastwards across northern and western parts. There could be some localised disruption as we move through the evening rush hour. Some of that heavy rain also extending into Northern Ireland. Temperatures generally the high teens to low 20s. Plenty of sunshine though across England and Wales. The heat of the afternoon into the evening could spark one or two heavy showers, but most of us will stay dry. Perhaps still a little low cloud around some western coasts. And then through the evening and overnight, this weather front just slowly pushes its way southeastwards, though starts to fizzle out. Some fresher air behind it across Scotland and Northern Ireland overnight, staying warm and humid further southeast across England and Wales. Temperatures remaining in the high teens, perhaps locally low 20s down here, but much fresher. You can see 10, 11 Celsius there in the northwest. This weather front very slow moving into Tuesday across central parts of the UK, thick enough for some rain. Hot and humid to the southeast of this, again 35 Celsius possible. To the northwest, fresher but drier with sunny spells across Northern Ireland and Scotland. And generally for everyone, winds will be light. In the sunshine, as I mentioned, strong UV this time of year, 34 or 35 Celsius possible.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed heat pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M80 at Junction 6 has southbound restrictions in Lane 2 due to a road incident, causing longer travel times. The A48M from Pound Hill Overbridge to M4J29 as St Mellons has road closures with diversions in place. Congestion on the A50 eastbound in Staffordshire between A522 and A518 at Toxeter East is causing 20-minute delays. In Surrey, a broken down vehicle on the M25 clockwise at Junction 8 has closed one lane. And on the trains, anticipate disruptions between Carlisle and Glasgow Central or Edinburgh with Avanti West Coast and TransPennine Express. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Imagine having an extra £1,000 to spend each week for an entire year. £54,321 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to spend however you like. £54,321 in cash could be landing in your bank account this year. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. That's State of the Nation every Monday and Tuesday at 8 o'clock, only on GB News, the People's Channel.
To all of you who voted for GB News to win at the Trick Awards for the 3rd year in a row.
So thank you so much for voting for us.
First, and hopefully there'll be a few more to come down the line.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's because of you that we're proud to be the People's Channel. It's because of you that we are Britain's news channel.
Monday morning, thank you for starting your day and your week with us. Question: is the Prime Minister losing control of his MPs?
Up to 50 Labour backbenchers threaten to rebel against tomorrow's welfare bill. That's despite the government making significant concessions.
Well, after a series of policy reversals, is his grip on power sharing slipping away? Earlier we asked the Shadow Work and Pensions Minister, Danny Kruger.
We want to see the benefit bill actually come down over time, and we want to see growth in jobs, and we don't want to see new tax rises. If the government can commit to those three conditions, then we'd be prepared to support them in the bill tomorrow, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Glastonbury comes to a close, but the controversy rumbles on as the police assess a performer's chance of death to the Israeli military.
Heatwave coming your way today. Britain set to be hotter than Barbados.
And we meet the triple amputee, a veteran who defied all expectations to sail solo from Mexico to Japan.
Prince William gives an update on his initiative to end homelessness. His charity is called Homewards Future. What's in store for that?
Keep going, says Prince William to the team he convenes to make homelessness rare, brief and unrepeated. More details shortly.
Could it be the hottest start to Wimbledon ever? Well, crowds are making their way to the world's oldest tennis tournament as we speak. We're going to be chatting with some of the attendees.
What do you think so far? Rubbish. Anyway, in sport this morning, Wimbledon begins today with the most Britain's playing since 1984. I think they've got a heat stroke is what it is. The Lionesses score 7 in their final warm-up game before the Euros begins at the weekend. And the Chris Eubank Jr. Conor Benn rematch is on for September.
There's a northwest-southeast split with our weather over the next 24 hours, with temperatures rising across the southeast. Find out how high they'll go later on with me.
My name's Eamonn Holmes. You're very welcome to the programme, however you're watching, however you're listening.
Oh, and my name's Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
I was just thinking, we're going through the headlines there this morning, and are you like me in that you give certain words and then you want to sing a song to them? So there's the word pops up there that we will be hotter today than Barbados. Oh,
we're going to Barbados. Through the palm trees.
Palm trees or something.
I'm going to see my girlfriend across the sunny Caribbean Sea.
The sunny Caribbean Sea.
I thought that was going to Ibiza. No? Or is
I think they redid a version.
Oh, there's a new version.
There's a new, like
Bing
a modern
Boys
version.
to we're going to Ibiza. Oh, we're going to Ibiza.
There's a funny story about that song, about the Barbados song. I can't remember the name of the band that did it, but when they appeared, it was going up the charts, and they imagined it was this great Jamaican band or Barbadian band from the West Indies, and then they saw these load of white guys, middle-aged, playing this song. And then it sort of kind of took the excitement away, and it started going straight down the charts after that, when people saw them on
But
top
is it
of
not
pops.
all about flying out of Luton or whatever? And, you know, that was the great ambition to go to Barbados.
Yeah, it's a lovely place, Barbados.
Yeah, it is.
It's across the sunny Caribbean Sea.
I'm getting worse than that. There's like people will say things to me during the day, and I'll finish the song.
What you're singing at them?
And song.
But this is what I've been doing about. This is what I've been doing about Wimbledon. And the Womble song's now in my head.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the way we all do it.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing, though, is it?
Not a bad thing, no.
There are worse things you could be doing.
When you speak to the next politician, though, you know...
Don't break into song.
Try not.
We'll try not to.
Try not to.
Crisis point for the PM today, as around 50 MPs are still set to rebel against the welfare bill. That will be voted on tomorrow.
Well, Keir Starmer admitted in an interview that he lost control of the welfare revolt due to his focus on foreign affairs.
Now, that comes as a polling guru said this was the worst start of any newly elected PM.
So, is it only a matter of time before the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, makes her bid to take the top spot?
And we welcome back from The Spectator, the economics editor there, Michael Simmons, on this one. Michael, how interesting is this scenario? How does this wet your lips in any way, or do you think that this is all blown out of proportion?
I mean, it depresses me, to be honest. I think it does matter because we're heading for a welfare bill just for sickness and disability benefits of £100 billion a year that we just can't afford to pay. The original reforms that Keir Starmer and Liz Kendall and Rachel Reeves put together was only going to shave £5 billion off that. And they're not even going to get that through. So I think, aside from what we've already talked about today about what this says about the Prime Minister's authority, it means that the benefit system is becoming like the NHS, that politicians just won't tolerate any reform to it. And that's going to, we're going to have to reform it if we're going to continue.
Right, so basically all of this is pointing towards the autumn budget and tax increases.
Yeah, exactly. The Chancellor and the Prime Minister have repeatedly ruled out what they say is increasing taxes on working people. I don't know what tax isn't really on working people because it all adds up. I think what she's going to do is use stealth taxes. So this idea of...
So rich people will be...
Well, everyone's going to be caught up in this because what she's going to do is freeze the thresholds at which you start to pay income tax. So the lower limit for which you pay income tax and for each bracket normally goes up with inflation, but Rishi Sunak froze that and it was meant to end this year. She could continue that and there'd be no headline saying she's actually raised the rate of tax that you pay, but the result of that would be more people paying tax who otherwise wouldn't be, and more people, when they get a pay rise at work, potentially getting dragged into a higher tax bracket. I suspect that might be a quite attractive option in the Treasury.
We're talking about 50 rebels tomorrow. I mean, whatever happens tomorrow with this vote, the Prime Minister's authority has been damaged, hasn't it? Do you think this has opened the door to other U-turns, potentially with family farms?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, this started at 126. He's got it down to 50, so he will get it through on a narrow majority. But it's really damaged his authority. Once you U-turn on one thing, once you U-turn on two things, your backbench MPs realise that they're the people in control. And there's so much uproar about this, family farm tax because it's going to encourage people out of farming, it's going to stop farmers from passing on to their children, which anyone would want to do. So I think the group of Labour MPs who have rural constituencies who are against this tax are going to see this as an opportunity that...
And also when you look at how little that will actually raise, you think, is that a fight worth having? And that's a whole other argument. But so we talk about who will be fearful of this or whatever. Who would this embolden? Which politicians would this embolden? Is there anybody going to start flexing their muscles or thinking, oh, Starmer won't be long for this world?
Well, I think two people are happy in terms of looking for, if Starmer does come unstuck and there was a leadership challenge, would I go for it? And those people are Angela Rayner and Andy Burnham. It's obviously easier for Angela...
Now, Andy Burnham, interesting you say that. I mean, a very credible, very, very interesting guy, but he's the mayor of Greater Manchester.
Well, exactly. This is his plus point and his negative, right? That he's been away from Westminster for all these years, so he's avoided being involved in what's gone wrong down here while he's ran Manchester relatively well. But as you say, there's no seat for him right now, so he would have to find a way of becoming an MP again.
And would there be a feeling, a love, a warmth for Andy Burnham? I mean, would he be welcomed within the party?
Well, I think that there's people that, Andy Burnham rubs up the wrong way, but there's also people that recognise that he can carry votes and he seems more down to earth. That said, I don't think he's anywhere near as popular as Angela Rayner, who's the most favoured among Labour members, and many people think that she's the only one that could really take the fight to Nigel Farage.
I was listening last week to a great endorsement of Angela Rayner, and guess who it was from?
Nigel Farage?
No.
Oh, he said quite warm words.
Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Oh. Oh, yes, I did
said
see
her
that.
personality was so good and
charismatic.
Yeah, I know Angela Rayner, and I absolutely think she is very sociable. She's very intelligent. She's very amiable. Whatever. I think whether middle sector Britain would take to her, I'm not sure. And I said this to her: women don't like you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did she say that?
Yes, I did say
What did she say to that?
Well, she took that on board.
Oh.
Because I think there's a lot of women that feel quite threatened by her and that she doesn't represent women in the right way or whatever it is. I don't think men are threatened by her at all. But it's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, her polling is certainly mixed. Like, whilst we say that, you know, Labour members do support her, there are people that make exactly that comment, that they think that her loutishness, for want of a better word, is maybe put on, and that she should be a bit more proper. And actually, it tends to be sort of people that are more establishment that kind of like her for the way she kind of presents herself now, and people who are actually from her background, when you look at polling, tend to say, oh no, you know, you could sort of smarten up a bit. But I do think she has the sort of, she'd hate me for saying this, but the Boris Johnson kind of charm that makes people get behind her.
John's been in touch with Angela Rayner, saying, if I became a millionaire overnight, I would never, ever forget my roots. Not like Angela Rayner, who's forgotten us and is not fit to become PM.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's your opinion, John, OK. You were listening and watching Michael Simmons, the economics editor of The Spectator. Fascinating to have you all morning. Really enjoyed chatting to you, mate. Come back again soon.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you very much, Lee.
Now, the Prince of Wales has urged those working on his ambitious drive to end homelessness to keep going.
Now, his charity is called Homewards, and I'm very interested in this because this is the second anniversary when he said on this programme the charity is now in delivery mode. Now, the good thing about this is for 2 years, he made this statement that he's going to end homelessness. And I actually have been going and thinking, well, fantastic. Then I've heard nothing about it. Nothing. Like, what on earth's going on? So, our royal correspondent Cameron Walker's here to put us in the picture. Cameron, where are we at?
Well, good morning. As you say, Eamonn, it's something which Prince William concedes. Ending homelessness will not be happening overnight. So 2 years ago, he set up Homewards, as you said, to demonstrate that homelessness can be ended and making it, and I quote, rare, brief and unrepeated. So what he's done is set up 6 kind of flagship locations around the country. So Belfast is one of them. We've got Lambeth here in South London. We've got Bournemouth and other places as well, and Aberdeen is another one. And they are basically forming blueprints to demonstrate how you can end homelessness in that specific area. Because what Prince William is arguing, and the team around him is arguing, is it's not going to be a broad brush stroke across the country of how you can end homelessness. It needs local stakeholders, local organisations working together to fix homelessness in that specific area.
I'll tell you what these organisations don't have, and I know this because I do some work in and around homelessness, and particularly in Belfast. Funding is the problem because there's not just, you know, I'm Joe Bloggs and I don't have anywhere to live. I'm Joe Bloggs and I have a drug problem or drinks problem or terrible family issues or whatever it is. It's not a simple history to put things right for a lot of these people. And, my friend, we've got the migrant situation as well on top of all this. You wonder how this is going to interfere with what he's doing.
Exactly. Not enough housing, not enough funding. And what Prince William is basically trying to do is convene, is probably the word that people around him would use, the government, local governments, but also the private sector and the charity sector around the same table working together. So, for example, Lloyds Bank has invested £50 million of private finance into trying to end homelessness. So that's the kind of thing that Prince William has done over the last couple of years. And tomorrow he's actually going to be in Sheffield, I can tell you, because it's just been announced this morning, at a school which is basically going to form one of these local kind of tasks to try and early intervention is what I'm trying to say. So those children at risk of homelessness who are about to leave school early, to try and keep them in school, try and get them education. So, Eamonn, as you were saying, they don't fall into the habits of getting into drugs or crime or anything like that, which would increase the chances of them becoming homeless in the first place. It's all about early intervention, and it's based off an Australian model, actually, of early intervention in local schools, which has brought youth homelessness down by 40%. Wow. But an incredibly long way to go. According to the latest figures from Shelter, the homeless charity, more than 300,000 200,000 people across the UK are homeless. That doesn't necessarily mean sleeping rough, but it means in temporary accommodation or shelters and things like that. So it is a mammoth task that Prince William has presented himself. So we'll have to wait and see.
I wish him all the best, and it's all the very best. And I think it's something we should, keep across and keep reporting on and see what's happening.
And support as well, yeah.
But the business about the bank there coming forward with 50 million quid is very encouraging.
And I don't think you would get that if it wasn't Prince William or another member of the royal family convening that. And IKEA is another one providing furniture to new houses.
Is that right?
Yeah. So he's getting these big corporations
Soft power in action, Cameron.
Exactly. There you go, Ellie. Yes.
Yeah.
Keep us posted, Cameron. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Now, at 14 minutes past 8, let's get a check on the weather picture with Greg Dewhurst, because it's set to be a scorcher.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. It's a northwest-southeast split across the UK today. Some heavy rain pushing in across Northern Ireland and Scotland, but elsewhere it's generally dry with some sunny spells. This morning we do have thicker cloud already across Northern Ireland into Scotland, some western fringes of England and Wales as well. Rain moving in across Northern Ireland, western Scotland as we move through into the afternoon. Some of this could be heavy at times, but plenty of sunshine further south and east, particularly across central southeastern parts of England and Wales. And here temperatures reaching around 34, possibly even 35 Celsius, a little fresher further north and west. Temperatures the high teens to low 20s. In any sunshine, still around 24 or 25 Celsius. This evening time, we zoom into Scotland. We've got some heavy rain pushing eastwards across northern and western parts. There could be some localised disruption as we move through the evening rush hour. Some of that heavy rain also extending into Northern Ireland. Temperatures generally the high teens to low 20s. Plenty of sunshine, though, across England and Wales. The heat of the afternoon into the evening could spark one or two heavy showers, but most of us will stay dry. Perhaps still a little low cloud around some western coasts. And then through the evening and overnight, this weather front just slowly pushes its way southeastwards, though starts to fizzle out. Some fresher air behind it across Scotland and Northern Ireland overnight, staying warm and humid further southeast across England and Wales. Temperatures remaining in the high teens, perhaps locally low 20s down here, but much fresher. You can see 10, 11 Celsius there in the northwest. This weather front very slow moving into Tuesday across central parts of the UK, thick enough for some rain. Hot and humid to the southeast of this, again 35 Celsius possible. To the northwest, fresher but drier with sunny spells across Northern Ireland and Scotland. And generally for everyone, winds would be light. In the sunshine, as I mentioned, strong UV this time of year, 34 or 35 Celsius possible.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed Home Battery Storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Now, do stay with us. Still to come, veteran Craig Wood has made headlines all around the world after defying all expectations and sailing solo from Mexico to Japan.
Sailing sounds nice, doesn't it?
I bet it wasn't. I bet it was
I can think of nothing worse.
Challenge.
Let's find out what his journey was like. He's going to be talking to us live next.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dawdley, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Good afternoon, Britain. A cheerful lollipop man's signature high fives have been stopped in their tracks.
Oh dear. Well, Neil Cotton, believed by local children... sorry. I'll start that all over again. This is a chap called Neil Cotton, and he's beloved by local kids in Howden, East Yorkshire. And he's been told by the council to stop The friendly high-fiving gesture, all in the name of health and safety.
But many parents and motorists are calling it nonsense. No surprises there. So apparently this chap, 57 years old, he spent the last 2 years brightening up the school run in the East Yorkshire town of Howden. There he is. Looks like a nice guy, doesn't he? He has a cheerful attitude. He has his signature high fives. The children love it. The parents love it. He loves it. But no, the council says, get on with your job and stop the high fives.
This is the one area of employment where the council's trying to chivvy people on and get them to work harder rather than less hard. But I mean, what have we done in this country where we've sort of abandoned our sense of whimsy? I think adding a sense of whimsy to all jobs, I think, is a fundamental productivity measure, actually. I think if you're enjoying what you're doing, you're going to be doing it better. People are going to go into school or away from school with a smile on their face. What a joyful thing in a town in Yorkshire. I mean, amazing, brilliant. And yet, no, of course, the clipboards have to come out and the dour library monitor style individuals. I bet they're all library monitors at school. They've just got to tell people that they can't have fun.
Yeah, so the children have to be shooed along. They can't be distracted by such frivolities as a high five.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk then? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Don't go anywhere. The Great British Giveaway. It's £54,321. Hayley Sparks will tell you how it could be yours.
This is your chance to enjoy luxury this summer. It's our biggest cash prize to date, an incredible £54,321 in tax-free cash has to be won. What would you do with that? With all of that cash, you could just chill out, treat yourself and indulge in the finer things in life. Somewhere like here, Downhall Hotel and Spa. You really could win the cash giveaway of the summer. Go on, treat yourself.
For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Good luck is what we said to our next guest when he was here live in this very studio in
February. 4 months ago.
February. And we said, good luck, but you're a bit mad. His name
I was a bit worried.
You'd have to be. His name is Craig Wood, and Craig is a triple amputee. He lost his limbs in a roadside explosion in Afghanistan, I think it was.
Yeah.
He's a former British Army rifleman, and he decided to sail across the Pacific from Mexico to Japan. Anyway, the thing is, he did it. The important thing is he was raising money for charity, and hopefully we're going to help him with that today. We say hello, good morning, and welcome to Craig. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you, guys. Nice to be back on.
So good to see you, Craig. Got a lot more hair than the last time we saw you.
Yeah, and my beard's maybe grown a few centimetres as well. Yeah, good.
Now, where are you this morning?
I'm in Hiroshima, Japan.
Oh, wow.
My word. So listen, that's it done. How long did it take? How good or how bad was it?
It took 90 days.
Wow.
And it was, it was fairly difficult at times, you know. I broke my engine, completely seized one of the engines. I ran over my sail 3 times. My boom came off, and all of that, and then I'm missing my wife and children as well. So it was pretty difficult, but I got here. I'm good, and I'm looking forward to getting back home.
And how did you keep pushing on through those tough moments, Craig? I mean, how did you deal with that loneliness that you talk about there? Because you were all by yourself out there, weren't you, for 90 days?
Yeah, I actually didn't feel lonely. It was a weird one. I missed my children and wife, but there wasn't a feeling of loneliness. However, it's not like I could just turn around. Nobody's going to come and help me. So the quickest way to get out of it was to finish it, really.
But when you talk about sailing, and we're talking about you sail from Mexico to Japan, well, what do you mean by sailing? We're not talking. Are we talking rowing? Are we talking you press a button and an engine goes? Have you to pull ropes and sails? And to explain to us exactly the physicality involved in all of that.
Yeah, so I have a catamaran, a sailing catamaran. However, it does have engines, but not nearly enough fuel to drive me more than 4 days. So the 90 days it took me was pretty much all using sails, pulling ropes, steering the boat myself, using celestial navigation to get me across the ocean, all proper old school timey stuff.
Wow.
Using paper charts. Yeah, just like proper sailing, as it were.
And Craig, just remind the viewers and listeners who perhaps didn't watch our interview with you in February. So you are a triple amputee, aren't you? How did you lose your limbs, and what were you told at that point when you lost 3 of your limbs?
Yeah, I became a triple amputee from a command wire IED in Afghanistan. And yeah, when I was injured, the doctors basically told me that, you know, windsurfing and sailing is probably a no-go. Well, I've proved that wrong. So yeah, quite happy to dispel that notion that some people may have. And I'm trying to push the notion of let's just try, you know. Eamonn, you might know yourself from personal experience, but it's daunting when you're less mobile than you used to be. And you start to get this mindset of, well, I can't do this. I'm trying to promote the mindset of, well, what could I do instead? And I'm just knocking down them barriers left, right, and centre.
Now, what are we going to do now? We're going to put up the link on screen now for how you can donate to your fundraising, okay? And tell people where the money goes, how it's going to be used.
Well, it goes to 2 charities. It goes to Blesma, which help thousands of limbless veterans every year. They help you from mental health, from buying equipment for your house, to me, helping me get batteries for the boat.
Yeah.
It also goes to Turn to Starboard, which help, again, veterans like myself heal through sailing. So if you've got any PTSD or you just want to learn how to get a qualified sailing under your belt, go down there, and they help thousands, and I mean thousands of people every year, and they never want to thank you. It's just support exactly how it should be. But I'm trying to support them, and the guys that sat at home can support them as well.
I hope people do support you as well. I can understand you're exhausted, you're tired, your goodness knows time differences and all sorts of things. But Ellie tells me that you have been busy before you went away, and in the form that is your good lady wife with child.
She is, yeah. So we've got our 3rd on the way.
Oh,
so I'm very,
congratulations.
very excited to get back. Thank you.
Oh.
And be a present husband and a present father, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, look, it's a delight seeing you again. Absolutely amazing that you've done this. I could think of nothing worse. No. Nothing worse. And therefore, you're worth every penny that you raise for this whole thing, my friend. And I see you're smiling. I'm glad you could smile. I don't think I could smile through that.
Yeah, you're incredible, Craig, and you're an inspiration. So thank you so much for joining us again. And we're so pleased that you made it there safely. Well done.
Thank you for spreading the message. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Safe home. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Craig Wood. Wow.
Incredibles. And you can go to Give Star if you've missed this. Oh, it's still at the bottom of the screen. But you can go to Give Star, type in Craig Wood, and it will come up for you automatically if you just Google that. But if you can dig deep, because he is a veteran, those are two incredible causes, I'm sure you agree. And what he's done was, well, he was told it was impossible. And look, he achieved the impossible.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's emotional talking to him, actually, and just seeing what he managed to achieve despite what he was told.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Good man. OK, so, well, lesser travelling than that.
Yeah, we're not going quite that far.
He's travelled halfway around the world across the Pacific Ocean. We're just telling you what's out and about on the roads out there.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A92 southbound between Preston and Bankhead roundabouts is partially blocked due to a broken down vehicle causing delays. The A48M westbound from Pound Hill Overbridge to M4 junction 29A at St Mellons is closed for maintenance with clear diversions. In Kirklees, the M62 westbound entry slip at junction 24 is shut due to a vehicle fire, expected to clear between 10 and 10:15 this morning. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and TransPennine Express services between Carlisle and Glasgow Central, as well as Edinburgh, are experiencing significant disruptions. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
We're just looking at Craig Wood, our triple amputee, who we were speaking to earlier there, about the money that he's trying to raise, sailing across the Pacific Ocean solo on that. And I'm just a bit disappointed in the lack of money that he's raised. What's the score there, Ellie?
So his aim is to raise £50,000. He's currently on 7,973, just 16% of what I was hoping to raise. So GB News viewers and listeners, if you are able to donate anything to Craig Wood, that
anything
you
don't even have to dig deep. Just if you dig something there, I think it's easy to hit 50 grand.
It'll be easy.
Do that well for the lad.
Yeah, and and GB News viewers are a generous bunch, so I'm sure they can pull together for this. What a great cause it is.
We'll hit the break there. Wimbledon, first day today, and everybody's going to be there. Emma Raducanu, Katie Boulter, Carlos Alcaraz, they're all in action today, and we'll be bringing you all that latest news next.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays, I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. That's State of the Nation every Monday and Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Breaking news just in. Craig Wood, our triple amputee, who sailed across the Pacific, and he wasn't doing well in his fundraising. Well, during that break that we were on, we raised how much more?
You've donated £1,000 to Craig and these incredible causes, these two incredible... Let me remind you of these charities. Blesma, which is the limbless veterans charity that supports injured servicemen and women who have lost limbs. And then the Turn to Starboard, which is to help armed forces personnel with their rehabilitation and well-being, those that are suffering from PTSD.
So you've done really well, but you could do better.
We could do better.
It's only 8,000 quid, and he's trying to reach 50, and I think we could get him there.
We can definitely get him there.
And
so many of you saying you've just watched the interview on GB News. It's absolutely incredible. Well done. So keep
You
it coming
can
in.
donate using the link that is on your screen right there, OK? So it's that little tiny bit I can't see.
Give Star. But if you just go into Google and type Give Star Craig Wood, it comes up for you. I'm on the page now, and it's going up all the time, which is just brilliant to see. So
What
thank
happens
you so
if you
much.
Google Paul Coit? What do you get?
Probably a lovely picture of Paul Coit.
What's your point?
Now, what's your point?
Oh,
Here we are on the last day of June. What?
It's a picture of him kissing the trophy, which you won't want to see.
That's what you get.
Right, here we are on the last day of June.
June.
And tell us why it's so significant.
It's a very significant day, not in sport, but was a hot afternoon, the last day of June, and the sun was a demon. Bobby Goldsborough.
Yeah.
A friend of mine reminded me it's Bobby Goldsborough Day today. I always call it Bobby Goldsborough Day because it is the last day of June, and the sun will be a demon, and it will be a hot afternoon, so I always listen to that song, and every year I would call Bobby Goldsborough to find out the true story about...
And what is the true story of the hot afternoon on the last day?
It was
of
him...
June?
It's a coming of age story. It's a coming of age story, Amy.
Right.
With a slightly older lady.
Yes.
That's apparently the story. But it's a lovely song, so listen to the song.
That's a good story.
It was a hot afternoon.
OK. So it is a hot afternoon if you are going to Wimbledon.
Very hot.
And if you're sitting in a crowd, slap it on, slap it all over.
Yeah, and it's
splash it all over.
Yes.
It's like... Is Alex Davis there? Alex is there, right?
He is.
Oh, Alex is there,
in the queue.
He's in the queue.
He needs to be slapping it on that head of his.
Alex.
Alex, you said you'd get a hat.
Yes, I have got a hat. It's just to the side of me, but, I think I am going to have to slap it on. Otherwise, I'll be looking like a matchstick by the end of the day.
Let's see the hat.
Oh, here it is.
Hang
on. Let me pop it on. There we go.
Hello.
How do we
from
look?
Del Monte, he say yes.
Very sophisticated.
Our wonderful cameraman said it was more like Keith Lemon, but I'm not too sure. I thought I looked all right.
I think you look great. How big is
like you said, we're here at the queue.
How big is it at the moment? We were last time I looked 6,000.
6,000. There's murmurs on Twitter. I've followed a few accounts that there's as many as 9,000.
Oh wow!
And shortly after I'd left you earlier. Yeah, exactly. Shortly after I left you earlier, there were murmurs that the grounds was already at capacity. So the people that just joined in the queue this morning would have to be waiting until the people who have been here over the weekend were leaving before they even had a chance to get into the venue. It is absolutely heaving here. We were able to speak to a couple of people who were at the front of the queue earlier. They've been here since Saturday just to get centre court tickets. It's just started to move along now. They've split the queue.
They're in the queue.
They're in the queue. That's a queue. You're right.
You get 30 minutes.
What?
You're allowed. Seriously, you are allowed 30 minutes to go to the toilet. if you're in the queue.
Oh.
So they give you a
Only in
30-minute
Britain.
grace.
Only in Britain would you get a grace to go to the loo. I love that. Sorry, Alex, please continue.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of... That's okay. There's been a lot of drastic measures taken. One guy turned up on Saturday without a tent and had to camp in somebody else's tent, he was telling me as well. But as I said, they managed to get centre court tickets because they were right at the front. They've been moved ahead. There's about, like I say, probably at about 9,000, and the queue goes back as far as the eye can see. Right down there on Wimbledon Park, with people just hoping for the chance to get into the venue, just to get into the grounds, you know.
Yeah.
It's not even like these people are guaranteed access to even get into any of the courts. That just shows how popular it is. But even the people who have been here since Saturday, they all said the same thing. It was absolutely worth it. The atmosphere has been fantastic. Everybody's in high spirits, no matter how long they've been here, no matter how many, 30-minute loo breaks they've had to take and jump out of the queue. They've all enjoyed it. And I think people are still joining at the end, just on that off chance they may get lucky and get into the grounds.
Well, let's hope they can. Is it true you can bring a bottle of champagne, Alex? Can you find that out for me? Because I think you can bring up to a bottle from memory.
Not nothing.
This is the sort of thing you need to know.
I'm not sure off the top of my head, but if so, I'll be heading to the nearest off licence. No, I'm just kidding.
I think so, yeah.
But no, I'm not sure. I'm not too sure.
Have a little. That's your homework, Alex, for the next hour.
Story of my life, Ellie. Do some research.
Well, thanks, Alex. Leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. Keep that hat on, my friend. Thank you.
That's Britain at its best, though, isn't it?
I think
love
so.
that.
Yeah.
That's Britain at its best, and everybody looks at everybody's in high spirits. Everybody, no matter staying out all night, happy, looking forward to getting into Wimbledon. I love all that.
Yeah, and lots of brollies there, and lots of hats, so people are being sensible in the sun as well.
Absolutely, sunshades today, not brollies.
Do you know, one time I was walking through Wimbledon and I was puffing away, and this man walked up beside me, and we started our journey together for wherever we were going. I think we were going to Henman Hill or something like that. And I said, well, how are you? Where are you from? He said, I'm from the USA. I said, where are you from? He said, New York. And we spoke away, and I said, very good. And I said, and are you here on your own today? He said, no, my daughters are playing here. I said, really? You've daughters playing?
No.
He said, yes.
Wasn't who I think it was.
Yeah, it was Mr. Williams.
No.
Was it?
Yeah.
Richard Williams.
Yeah, and he was the most
King Richard.
ordinary,
Yeah.
down-to-earth.
Really?
Yeah, they made that film about
They
him,
did,
didn't
King
they?
Richard, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Who played you in that film? Did they have that scene in there? That was one of the best scenes of the film. Emma Raducanu plays Mimi Zhu. That's going to be the game to look out for. Two Brits playing against each other. Mimi, who's only 17 from Swansea, playing Emma Raducanu. Can you imagine if Mimi wins?
Nah, Emma will have that one.
Well, I tell you what, if Mimi did win, it would be serious slight on Emma Raducanu. But you would imagine that she can win this today.
I think so. I think so. We got time for one more thing I've got to show you.
Yeah.
Yannick Sinner. Now, he's obviously one of the favourites, second seed behind Carlos Alcaraz. Have a look at this. This is him serving a tennis ball on grass to see if he can light a match. Now, there we are. There's something on the side of the ball. Now, they put the match there. Now, watch this carefully. Here we go. He's probably taken a few goes. Bang. How about that? That's not a bad serve,
Is that an ordinary-sized match?
That's it. Oh, yes. It's the perspective. It is an ordinary-sized match. And we can watch it in slow motion to show that it's real because, I wasn't happy. This is our own version of Hawkeye. Look at that. So it bounces on the line, bounces up, lights the match.
Incredible.
Very good.
Absolutely incredible. The skill, the things you can do with a racket.
I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks in the studio attempting to do the same thing.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank you. We'll see how it goes.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. I'll tell you what else is amazing. I've just checked the Craig Woods fundraiser.
Oh, look at that.
The amputee. This is incredible. We've gone from £7,000 to almost £13,000 in the last 20 minutes.
That is
That's in 200 donations. I told you, GB News viewers are so generous, especially when it comes to a veteran and two incredible charities. So thank you so much. Please keep giving if you can. Give star Craig Wood and it will come up for you.
I mean, what he did was exceptional, but what you're doing is making it all worthwhile. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're so grateful. Thanks, Coity.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
We're going to go through the newspapers. We've got Dawn and Chris with that. And
here we
see
go.
them shortly. And here is your sunspots in our European destinations.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean all clear skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
Temperatures remain above average across much of Europe over the next few days. Plenty of sunshine to come as well, but sunshine's not everywhere. Cloudier skies for parts of Madeira down into the Canary Islands. 1 or 2 light showers are possible, but much of the Mediterranean will be sunny, though some thunderstorms possible across the Alps on Tuesday afternoon. 1 or 2 showers for eastern Greece into Turkey, but otherwise plenty of hot sunshine, and there's very little change over the next few days. Temperatures above average.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dordme, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Yeah, so I got the news on 4th of April, right in between GB Team Selection Series, which hurt even more because I was leading in the points. But all of a sudden, I get a phone call being told you're banned from attending any part of UK premises, banned from speaking with your teammates or staff, which was the most brutal part of it, and suspended, or whatever word you want to use.
I think, though, Kurt, that, you know, posting subscription-only saucy content online might get you in a little bit of trouble, or did it not cross your mind?
No, for sure. But I want to make it clear that I have tried things in the past. I've been living life on the edge so many years. We moved from Latvia in 2010, been living life on the edge since then, done everything from working freelance long into the long nights, working at the Amazon warehouse. I have seeked out other alternatives, but in December last year, I got to a point, a realization where I thought, is it worth it, or can I find an alternative? And I knew of other GB athletes doing it. I didn't think it was going to cause outrage like this.
Yeah, because I was thinking, you know, a nice chap like you, who's obviously very talented with your sport, you could make some money doing, you know, like online fitness training or personal training and things like that don't involve, you know, getting your kit off.
No, for sure. I've been making content for like 6-7 years now. Over 1,000 of the pieces of content have been inspirational, motivational. I've visited over 30 schools in the UK, going to the hardest parts of the UK, inspiring kids from underprivileged backgrounds to get into sport. I've tried that, but I don't know. I found that in this day and age, unless you are smart or find some little controversial thing you can hold on to, it's going to be hard to get attention and sponsorship.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
He's not just a presenter, he's an award-winning television icon. A household name for decades, from GMTV to This Morning, and now waking up Britain on GB News Breakfast. Join Eamonn Holmes, TV royalty and multiple Trick Award winner, as we bring you the news that matters. This isn't just breakfast TV, this is GB News Breakfast. Every morning from 6 a.m. on GB News.
Yes.
Nice to see you all again, and thanks. Gosh, the money is really pouring in for Craig Wood, and we're delighted. Miss Ellie, with the total so far?
Hang on. £13,733.
Brilliant.
He's now at 27% of his goal, which is incredible.
For 50 grand on
yeah,
that.
so we're going to try and get him to 50 grand by 9:30 by the end of the show, if we can.
Inspirational. What an inspirational story.
I know, incredible.
It's just like...
Told he's never going to sail, he said, no, I was going to prove them wrong. And he's the first triple amputee to sail the Pacific solo.
Yeah, never give up. No matter what your circumstances, never give up.
Yeah, and that's his message. And it's 2 incredible charities for veterans. If you can dig deep, that is the website there. Give
Just
stuff.
dig. Never mind deep. Just dig.
Yeah, anything you can give.
Right, OK. Stories, and this is from the Telegraph. Dawn, this is about pronunciations and class snobbery. So regional dialects and mispronunciations.
It is, yeah. This is telling someone they can't talk proper is just class snobbery. Basically, I think it was last week, Grace Dent on Channel 4's Countdown, she said that language was evolving and sort of like, you know, you shouldn't have a go at people who don't pronounce words like mischievous properly. Everyone pronounces it mischievous now, but...
Who says mischievous?
Everybody, evidently.
Well, would you say mischievous?
Well, I just said mischievous.
Yeah.
I was watching telly the other day.
I'd never say mischievous.
Stop ruining my story, Eamonn Holmes. Any case. So language is evolving, but the Telegraph have done some digging in this, and they have found that, in particular, accents are closely linked with social class, and those with the strongest regional accents tend to be more working class, because you iron it out. So they say that it's not just people not talking proper, it's people sneering at them. So if you pull someone on their accent, in particular, obviously, Ellie, the Essex accent, I know your family are from Essex.
Yeah.
The Essex accent, it's people sneering at you, and the Cockney accent as well. And it's like, I bonded with Alex Scott on this once, we were talking about, because she always gets pulled up on a commentary about not talking proper. And she goes, I'm from London, it's how I talk. And she goes, you wouldn't do that with any other accent.
Alex
like
Scott, the football presenter.
Yeah. And because she got pulled up on the way she spoke common, like she's from London, she goes, you wouldn't do that if it was someone talking...
She doesn't speak common.
I don't think she does either, but I'm a fellow Londoner.
I actually think often...
Go on, stop trying to talk proper, Chris.
No, well, yeah, all right. I think it's reverse often. So, received pronunciation. When you hear somebody with received pronunciation, I think my immediate bias is that they are bright, they are beautiful, they are natural leaders. There's something that I was brought up to think that if someone speaks with the Queen's English...
Proper.
Yeah, well, once they're proper, you know, Queen's English, when we see pronunciation, they must have degrees and et cetera, et cetera. When actually sometimes some of the, well, how do you say it politely? People with a less common knowledge are people who received English.
Yeah.
You know, because they've been living in their own little bubble.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you know, you can get it the other way round.
So people with proper accents from around the country, regional accents, are probably just far more intelligent, beautiful, wonderful,
well,
whatever.
what I do love, but I love like things like the Geordie accent. Why I diver now, I like how you're gunning. And so when I get with a couple of Geordies and I start trying to, you know, I like to mimic them. I'm not taking the mick. I actually really love. Or Scousers is another one. I love the Scouse
accent.
Yeah.
Love a Scouse accent. Yeah. Eamonn, have you ever tried to iron your accent out for work purposes?
You see, I would say no to you, but if I look at videotapes of me, you know, from 1982 or so, and then when I moved to England, and so whatever this voice is now, I think has evolved.
It's yeah.
No,
so
but I have 4 other brothers, and if you put me with my 4 other brothers, you'd have to have an interpreter. Something. I mean, they definitely speak differently, and therefore, why do I speak differently? And that has to be the environment. That
but then that's human beings. We do mimic our environment, and we do take on the mores and the way people speak in the local environment. But for example, if you, like you say, if you went to Northern Ireland with your brothers for a couple of weeks, when you come back, we would know the difference.
Yes.
No doubt about that.
People say to me when I'm on the phone, somebody will say to me, which one of your brothers was that you were talking to?
Yeah.
And they say, because you change your accent when you're on. But I'm not aware, I've never sat down and, you know, I know lots of people from Northern Ireland who've deliberately changed their accent, and it's a bit silly. I've never done it consciously, but I definitely would say yes.
It does evolve, you're right, yeah.
Dawn, I don't know if I can read this headline on a breakfast programme, but let's just say there's a rise in bedroom aids.
This is
men.
It's a serious medical story. The NHS in England alone has spent more than £20 million helping men deal with erectile dysfunction. And it's an increase of over £100,000 on the year before. And there's a worrying thing going on here. Is that more and more men, and it's increasingly younger men, it's men in their 40s rather than older men, sort of like, in their 50s and 60s. That
like me, older men like me.
I'm not looking across the table at anyone. I'm just looking at the news story, Agabusi. But if it's something you want to tell me after the show, that's fine. But there is something going on here that it's hit a record high that men are needing more and more help in the bedroom. I'm not looking at anyone on this table at all in any way, shape or form. But we don't know what's going on. But men need more help.
Right.
That was quite well done, wasn't it? That wasn't rude.
Yeah, that was good, Dawn. Very good.
Perfect.
Chris, in about 20 seconds, going to be hotter than Barbados today.
Ooh. We're going to Barbados. Yeah, exactly. That's where we're going. So just the normal things. Make sure you don't walk your dog on the hot pavement.
Yes. Good point.
Or keep them in hot cars.
Or keep them in hot cars, precisely that.
And hydrate lots.
And if you're going to the beach, put your sandals on because the sand could be like glass.
Let's find out. Here's Greg Dewhurst.
Even though we'll see a cloudy start, it'll be a bright outlook for the rest of the day. Boxed Solar, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. It's a northwest-southeast split across the UK today. Some heavy rain pushing in across Northern Ireland and Scotland, but elsewhere it's generally dry with some sunny spells. This morning we do have thicker cloud already across Northern Ireland into Scotland, some western fringes of England and Wales as well. Rain moving in across Northern Ireland, western Scotland as we move through into the afternoon. Some of this could be heavy at times, but plenty of sunshine further south and east, particularly across central southeastern parts of England and Wales. And here temperatures reaching around 34, possibly even 35 Celsius, a little fresher further north and west. Temperatures the high teens to low 20s. In any sunshine, still around 24 or 25 Celsius. This evening time, we zoom into Scotland. We've got some heavy rain pushing eastwards across northern and western parts. There could be some localised disruption as we move through the evening rush hour. Some of that heavy rain also extending into Northern Ireland. Temperatures generally the high teens to low 20s. Plenty of sunshine, though, across England and Wales. The heat of the afternoon into the evening could spark one or two heavy showers, but most of us will stay dry. Perhaps still a little low cloud around some western coasts. And then through the evening and overnight, this weather front just slowly pushes its way southeastwards, though starts to fizzle out. Some fresher air behind it across Scotland and Northern Ireland overnight, staying warm and humid further southeast across England and Wales. Temperatures remaining in the high teens, perhaps locally low 20s down here, but much fresher. You can see 10, 11 Celsius there in the northwest. This weather front very slow moving into Tuesday across central parts of the UK, thick enough for some rain. Hot and humid to the southeast of this, again 35 Celsius possible. To the northwest, fresher but drier with sunny spells across Northern Ireland and Scotland. And generally for everyone, winds would be light. In the sunshine, as I mentioned, strong UV this time of year, 34 or 35 Celsius possible.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M80 at Junction 6, a southbound incident causes significant delays. Use caution. The A48M westbound from Pound Hill Overbridge to M4 Junction 29A has a complete road closure due to maintenance and diversions. Plan your journey accordingly. In Kent, M25 clockwise has a broken down vehicle between junctions 2 and 3, blocking 2 lanes and causing potential delays. Proceed with extra caution. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast reports major disruption between Carlisle and Glasgow Central. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
£54,321 cash could be yours. Cash that you could spend however you like. It's like having an extra £1,000 each week for a whole year to play with. Someone is guaranteed to win this amazing amount of cash, so make sure that someone could be you. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there short and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
To all of you who voted for GB News to win at the Trick Awards for the 3rd year in a row.
So thank you so much for voting for us.
First, and hopefully there'll be a few more to come down the line.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's because of you that we're proud to be the People's Channel. It's because of you that we are Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Is the Prime Minister losing control of his MPs?
Well, that's because up to 50 of his backbenchers have threatened to rebel against tomorrow's welfare bill. That is despite the government making significant concessions.
Well, after a series of policy reversals, is the Prime Minister's grip on power slipping away? Earlier, we asked Shadow Work and Pensions Minister Danny Kruger how Conservative MPs might vote tomorrow.
We want to see the benefit bill actually come down over time, and we want to see growth in jobs, and we don't want to see new tax rises. If the government can commit to those three conditions, then we'd be prepared to support them in the bill tomorrow, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
We are hours from learning the detail of Sir Keir Starmer's humiliating U-turn. Will it be enough to buy off those rebels?
Glastonbury has come to a close, but the controversy rumbles on as the police assess a performer's chance of death to the Israeli military.
A heatwave is in full force as Britain could be hotter than Barbados today.
Temperatures are certainly hotting up. We're here in sunny Scarborough, speaking to people out and about enjoying the warm weather.
That's the place to be, or indeed Wimbledon, because it could be the hottest start to a Wimbledon tournament ever. Crowds are gathering for the world's oldest tennis tournament despite the heat, and we are there.
There's a northwest-southeast split with our weather over the next 24 hours, with temperatures rising across the southeast. Find out how high they'll go later on with me.
Hello there, very good morning to you on this Monday morning. However you're watching, however you're listening, wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, you're very welcome. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Just a quick word about Craig Wood, our triple amputee sailor who sailed across the Pacific Ocean from Mexico to Japan on his own. Amazing. And we have good news. We feel good about this, and thank you to all of you this morning.
Yeah, incredible. We have raised £21,778. So he is now at 44% of his target. And this morning, when we spoke to Craig, only 40 minutes ago?
Yep.
He had £7,000 in the pot, and now 21,000.
21, nearly 22.
Nearly 22.
There. And that's due to you guys listening and acting upon that and making it worthwhile. I mean, to do all that he did, and only to pick up $7,000 at the end of the day wouldn't have been right.
We were upset by that, weren't we?
He is right.
Oh, look at that, 24,000 now. Is it 50% of his target? Yes.
Yes, yeah,
High
50%
five.
of it there, so that's going well.
Oh, I'm so happy. That's brilliant, because he so deserves it, and it's two incredible charities, isn't it?
Thanks, folks. Absolutely super stuff there. So please keep on giving. Thank you.
Give star and type in Craig Wood, and it will just come up automatically for you. And thank you so much.
Right, let's talk politics now. A crisis point for the Prime Minister, as around 50 MPs are still set to rebel. This will happen tomorrow when the welfare bill gets its reading.
Well, Keir Starmer has admitted in an interview that he lost control of the welfare revolt due to his focus on foreign affairs.
Now, this comes as a polling guru said this is the worst start, he says, the worst start of any newly elected Prime Minister.
So, is it only a matter of time before the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, makes her bid to take the top spot?
Well, we're joined in the studio now by our political editor, Christopher Hope, on all of this one. So this is quite serious then, isn't it?
It really is not where we thought they'd be, this government. Can you believe it? I mean, on Friday, they marked this one-year anniversary of this landslide win last year. And now look where he is. He's facing maybe 40 or 50 Labour MPs voting against the government tomorrow on the second reading.
But Chris, I'll just interrupt you here and say, how has he got it so wrong on so many issues?
He's been focused on different things.
He lacks some political touch, I think.
But what he lacks the touch is showing it's a socialist government. That's the, people don't expect him to get rid of heating allowances and disability benefits and all sorts of things and hitting the farmers hard and whatever.
And the irony is, of course, you've got Reform UK saying, well, lift the two-child benefit cap, one thing which Labour won't do. And that's what's so discombobulating, I think, for the two main parties. But, yeah, I mean, today we're going to hear the detail of this U-turn announced in that midnight letter last Thursday night by Liz Kendall. She's the Welfare Secretary. £5 billion of cuts it was last Wednesday. Now it's £2 billion of cuts. And will it be £0 billion of cuts once Stephen Timms, who's the Pension Secretary, Pension Minister, when he does his review into it? We know the benefits bill is too big. It's going towards $100 billion by the end of this decade. People have to work. They have to get out there and work. They're not working. They're being rewarded for not working. A quarter of young working age people are not working. Why is this happening? They need a bit of stick to work, I think. Everyone thinks. The polls think. Labour members disagree, as do MPs. There's a division between what the Labour MPs want, the members want, and what the public wants. Currently, he's facing towards the MPs. But that's not how you win elections.
Do you know what really spooks me? And we've talked about this off camera and things. AI and jobs being lost to artificial intelligence. And I'll just give you an example. Line judges at Wimbledon, there's over 200 of them which will say out, in, whatever, and they've all been made redundant because computers will now take over and make the same shout.
There's a report out today saying that entry-level jobs, the jobs that our children want to get when they leave university, they're evaporating like water into the sand because of AI.
No, it's really shocking. I'll tell you what else may have been shocking to you is Sir Keir Starmer admitting in an interview that he lost control of this welfare rebellion because he was so focused on foreign affairs. And this is the same man who said he prefers Davos to Westminster 2 years ago. I mean, should we be surprised?
He told that to a friendly podcast back in January 23, I think it was. I mean, I think it's surprising that you have him saying that his team around him should make sure that in his red box of papers that the important stuff's at the top. So even if you're in, as I was lucky enough to be with him in the G7 in the Rocky Mountains, at the top of his in tray is things he'll think about. But to say in that press conference at NATO last week, it's all noises off, when we're back here doing the numbers saying it's not noises off, Keir, you've got 126 of your own MPs, that's probably half of the people who could be signing up this amendment because the balance are in the government, they can't do it. They're saying reverse. We knew it was going to come. And the scale of it, as I say, they've dropped £3 billion worth of cuts, £2 billion left. That's a pimple on the scale of the size of the benefits budget. We can't have people being paid not to work in this country, given the challenges we face.
Chris, that G7 summit that you were talking about there, I'm hearing different things about Trump as to why President Trump left that meeting. He said he wasn't being listened to, he's being disrespected, and, initially we were supposed to think Iran was a big problem and he was going to look after that. Have you heard anything, or...?
No, I think he looked about of sorts. I think he seemed a bit subdued when he met with Sir Keir Starmer. I had colleagues who were eyeing him up, checking him out. He didn't have the virility we're used to when he's in his comfort zone in the Oval Office. He's less comfortable in the kind of multilateral world. There's only one world, and he's the leader of that world. He doesn't mean sharing the limelight with other people. He flew back, went to a meeting, an hour-long meeting, I think, in the war room in the Pentagon. The bombing of Iran happened the following Sunday. He left on the Tuesday. It was some time before that. But I think he just felt... I've done my bit with Keir Starmer, and Keir Starmer had a good session. He got small boats discussed on the world stage by everybody at the G7. That's a big thing for him. He got his deal with Donald Trump. He got a deal with Canada to enter this Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership. So I think he did well on the world stage. He's not doing the detail right at home. That's the problem.
What did you make of Professor John Curtis, who's a really respected pollster in this country, saying that Keir Starmer has had the weakest start of any Prime Minister in the past 100 years?
And he added Labour or Conservative.
Yes.
That line wasn't about any political party. He's saying this is a complete disaster. And I think he's right. They are doing some good things, the Labour government. They are tipping money into the NHS. That polls very, very well. They are trying to do their own way of tackling the small boats crisis, which will be probably 50,000 crossing this year, an extraordinary number, and then falling perhaps in the future as France starts to help out. Yes, it hasn't been great. I mean, where is the dynamism? They had 14 years to prepare for this. They seem to come into power, and it was enough to say we're not the Tories. And that's not enough. You need a plan for power. You can't exist to find about something else. Yeah.
Is it premature to talk about Angela Rayner as a successor?
It's not premature because everyone's talking about it. I mean, maybe, yes, it looks unlikely. And to remove, I look at the numbers today, 81 Labour MPs must sign a no-confidence note in 40 or 50 rebel tonight. Ellie, you're giving the eye roll there. Yeah.
It's not far off, is it? If we're talking about 50 rebels already and you need 81?
Yeah. He's not around. I mean, I heard an interview with one MP last week. One MP elected a year ago hasn't had one conversation with the Prime Minister. Now, that to me is surprising. One of the big jobs you have if you're in government is meet the new guys. You know, when we launched GB News, you meet the new guys, you have meetings, you go out for drinks, you meet them in areas of like North West MPs, Yorkshire MPs, so it goes on, but not to have a single chat with your leader. No wonder we're told that as many as half of the rebels tomorrow will be those elected in 2024 last year.
Wow.
Well, so it goes on, but you've come to an end, Christopher. Thank you very much indeed for that political insight there on all those issues. Appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed.
Now, at 10 minutes past 9, it's time for the Great British Giveaway and your chance to win £54,321 in tax-free cash. Here's Hayley Sparks with all the details.
We're here at Downhall in Essex to enjoy the finer things in life, and it's your chance to win £54,321 in cash. It's like having an extra £1,000 in your bank account each week for a whole year, which means that you'd be able to indulge in treats whenever you wanted to. That extra cash each week could send some of those day-to-day financial stresses packing this year to enable you to sit back, relax and do nothing. Make sure you don't miss out on our biggest cash giveaway to date.
For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Just as a reminder, on our triple amputee Craig Wood, we're currently at £29,598. He's at 59% of his target.
Now, he was only 7,500 when he came on the programme an hour ago.
Less than an hour ago.
Yeah, and so just thanks for your kindness. Really appreciate all that he's trying to do for amputees, and he lost his limbs in the Afghanistan war.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he was told he'll never sail, and he's just gone across the Pacific, hasn't he, in 3 months.
On his own.
Incredible man.
You can donate, of course, using the QR code, which is apparently on screen. Is it on screen?
Hopefully it's coming up. If not, give star Craig Wood. Google that and you'll find him.
No, we don't have that, apparently. But we do have Anna Riley.
We do.
Anna Riley in Scarborough today. A good day to be in Scarborough, I would have thought, as the heat wave continues, bringing you all the fun of the fair and the sights and sounds from there after this.
Yeah, brilliant day to be by the seaside as the UK could see one of the hottest days in June on record. Join us very soon after the break.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're
the failure is...
deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
What is the state of our economy? What is the state of our National Health Service? What is the state of our schools?
What on earth is going on?
Understanding Britain means understanding the state we are in. This is State of the Nation with me, Matt Goodwin, Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays from 8 p.m. on GB News.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
He's not just a presenter, he's an award-winning television icon. A household name for decades, from GMTV to This Morning, and now waking up Britain on GB News Breakfast. Join Eamonn Holmes, TV royalty and multiple Trick Award winner, as we bring you the news that matters. This isn't just breakfast TV, this is GB News Breakfast. Every morning from 6 a.m. on GB News.
Oh, we're going to Scarborough. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the day for it, to be fair.
Busy day for it. Now, where is Scarborough? On the east coast, isn't it?
North, east, I'd like to say.
Right,
You can ask Anna Riley, who's actually there for us.
OK, well, let's do that. Where exactly are you in terms of everywhere else in the country, Anna?
Welcome to sunny Scarborough, which is in North Yorkshire, beautiful part of the country and one of Britain's oldest seaside resorts. It's absolutely gorgeous as well when the sun's shining, and we're here as the UK could see one of the hottest June days on record today, with temperatures reaching a scorching 34 degrees Celsius. We know that since 1960, UK temperatures in June have surpassed 34 degrees in only 3 years, with the hottest being 35.6 degrees recorded on the 28th of June 1976. So could it get hotter than that? Well, it will be the 4th day of the heatwave for much of England, and the forecast today is set to be hotter than even the likes of Barbados. So there'll be certainly lots of people out and about in coastal regions like this one, going to the park, enjoying the sun if they're not at school or at work. It's a fantastic boost as well for tourism in the area. It's very seasonal in places like this. They rely on the sun on the summer months rather than winter time when it can be harder for people. But there's plenty to do at the coast. You can enjoy the sea. We've seen people out paddleboarding, swimming. We've got a lady dipping her feet there as well and enjoying it. You've got your fish and chips. You've got rides that you can go on. But just bear in mind as well, there is an amber health heat alert that came into force on Friday. That's the second in 2 weeks. That alert covers London, the East Midlands, the South East and the East of England. That lasts until 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. And the UK Health Security Agency also issued a yellow health alert for Yorkshire and the Humber and the West Midlands for the same period, warning of significant impacts on health and social care services. It's typically that normal advice: make sure that you're putting sun cream on, sunglasses, sun hat, drinking plenty of water and enjoying this glorious weather that we've got. We'll be here in Scarborough all day today, out and about speaking to people, enjoying the sunshine.
Anna, you mentioned the fairground rides. Will you be hopping on a ride today, do you think, having another viral video?
I'll definitely give it a go, but I might start off on the teacups because they're a little bit tamer, aren't they? I might be able to speak then if I do that.
Oh, Anna, you're amazing. Honestly, best video from you ever. Thank you so much.
It's not
Enjoy
going to be
your
the same
day.
in a teacup.
Won't quite be the same in a teacup.
No.
She'll still be great fun, though. Thanks, Anna.
OK, so Wimbledon, yeah, we're out there as well today. And who have we got there today?
We've got Alex Davis there.
We have Alex Davis. Let's go and find out. And he's, I think he's got a hat for his head, covering
He does,
up,
yeah.
protecting himself against the sunshine, which is going to be heavy today. And
Yes,
it would be, Alex, and seriously, it would be a big problem for a lot of people.
Yeah, the hat is doing a lot of the heavy lifting today, I must say. But I have had a little bit of a care package, as per your advice earlier. That has been well and truly slapped on all over. And I have a big update for you, Ellie, as well. You can have champagne in the queue, the equivalent of one bottle, 750 millilitres, or 2 cans of beer, if you would like. Bringing you the news that really matters. But yes, it says that it's going to hit about 34 degrees today, but in this sort of area, it can even feel upwards of about 37, 38 due to the amount of people here and how built up the city is. So I think this blaze is going to have to go at some point. It's getting really hot. Everybody has got their hats in the queue, the brollies, the sunscreen. One thing I am noticing about quite a few of the hats is there's a lot of Spanish hats. There's a lot of support for one Carlos Alcaraz today. He's playing today, I think, on centre court about 1 o'clock. He's a big fan favourite amongst the people who have made their ways down here. As I mentioned earlier, there's still no guarantee that the people joining the queue will even be able to get into the grounds, with about 9,000 people already here, but it hasn't deterred many people. Like I say, people keep joining the end just on the off chance they'll be able to make their way inside and just get a glimpse of the action. But the atmosphere is building, everybody seems in high spirits. Like I say, the brollies are out in full force, and we're watching as hundreds of people are making their way inside the venue now.
Good lad. Thank you very much indeed. And have yourself a good day. I know you'll be reporting throughout the whole day on the station, so well done on that. And
Thanks, Alex.
Well done, everybody, who donated to Craig Wood, our triple amputee, who sailed across the Pacific, and we've championed him on this programme. We've got good news and bad news. Good news is, well, we've tripled his money to nearly £30,000.
More than tripled his money, yeah.
But we've got a problem that you've been so good that the bloomin' website has crashed. So
which is incredible.
So well, it's not incredible. It's so awful because people will then go off the mood. They'll forget that they've had Craig there and going to donate to him. So
well, if you can't access the website, try and come back later. And if you do want to donate, just try again in a few minutes. But that's incredible, isn't it? The amount of traffic that obviously is going to that site now and trying to donate to Craig.
People mightn't even know that. They might, because he was in Japan. We're talking to him in Japan, so I don't know who's running this. Who knows?
Yeah. But incredible, because he started on £7,000 this morning when he talked to us after sailing the Pacific, just £7,000, and now he's got almost
Super
30.
Duper. Britain's newsroom up next, of course. Don't forget, and it's not Bev and Andrew today. It's Nana and Alex.
Morning.
Very nice to see
I feel like
you.
a small child. Look at the height. A very high chair.
He's on a high chair. Actually, he's the small child on a high chair. Listen, we've got a busy programme today. We are going to be talking about that awful performance at Glastonbury and what should become of the BBC, who, in a sense, enabled it by continuing to broadcast it, considering there were like over 4,000 or how many acts there. So they could have gone to something else, could have played something different. What is the judgment and what should be the outcome at the end?
And of course, we've got that really beautiful hot weather, hotter than Barbados, but is it going to cause a massive spike in migrants crossing the Channel? Probably more than likely, because we know whenever time there's good weather, migrants just flood over to the UK.
Never thought of that.
And
maybe hand in hand.
And we'll remind people about Craig Wood as well, just to
if you
just
could,
go to the website.
that'd be amazing.
I think it's important, and it also shows how generous our incredible viewers are here on GB News. It's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be great. Isn't
Get off your high chair. He's like
have a good show, you two.
Thank
be
you.
Good.
Right, we'll stay with us. Britain's newsroom is on the way in a matter of moments, but first, let's get some weather.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello there, good morning. Welcome to your latest GB News weather forecast. It's a northwest-southeast split across the UK today. Some heavy rain pushing in across Northern Ireland and Scotland, but elsewhere it's generally dry with some sunny spells. This morning we do have thicker cloud already across Northern Ireland into Scotland, some western fringes of England and Wales as well. Rain moving in across Northern Ireland, western Scotland as we move through into the afternoon. Some of this could be heavy at times, but plenty of sunshine further south and east, particularly across central southeastern parts of England and Wales. And here temperatures reaching around 34, possibly even 35 Celsius, a little fresher further north and west. Temperatures the high teens to low 20s. In any sunshine, still around 24 or 25 Celsius. This evening time, we zoom into Scotland. We've got some heavy rain pushing eastwards across northern and western parts. There could be some localised disruption as we move through the evening rush hour. Some of that heavy rain also extending into Northern Ireland. Temperatures generally the high teens to low 20s. Plenty of sunshine, though, across England and Wales. The heat of the afternoon into the evening could spark one or two heavy showers, but most of us will stay dry. Perhaps still a little low cloud around some western coasts. And then through the evening and overnight, this weather front just slowly pushes its way southeastwards, though starts to fizzle out. Some fresher air behind it across Scotland and Northern Ireland overnight, staying warm and humid further southeast across England and Wales. Temperatures remaining in the high teens, perhaps locally low 20s down here, but much fresher. You can see 10, 11 Celsius there in the northwest. This weather front very slow moving into Tuesday across central parts of the UK, thick enough for some rain. Hot and humid to the southeast of this, again 35 Celsius possible. To the northwest, fresher but drier with sunny spells across Northern Ireland and Scotland. And generally for everyone, winds will be light. In the sunshine, as I mentioned, strong UV this time of year, 34 or 35 Celsius possible.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed heat pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report. Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M80, southbound at Junction 6, a road traffic incident is restricting lane 2. Motorists should exercise caution and anticipate extended travel times. Meanwhile, the A48M westbound between Pound Hill Overbridge and M4 Junction 29A at St Mellons is closed for maintenance, with diversions in place. In Cambridgeshire, on the M11 southbound between junctions 14 and 12, drivers face a 40-minute delay. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast reports major disruption between Carlisle and Glasgow Central or Edinburgh and Milton Keynes Central and Watford Junction. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Where Anna Riley, our intrepid reporter, is doing the toughest job in television right now, which is enjoying the sunshine. Anna.
Yes, Tom, it's definitely a tough gig for me today, I'll tell you. I'm on the Bridlington Fun Park ride here. This is the Zero Gravity ride. This fun park is, off we go. This fun park is right next to the sea. Oh, it goes quite quickly, I'll tell you. And people are out enjoying rides like this one. Off we go. It's a great boost for tourism, and we've been speaking to people here in Bridlington about what's so great about the sunshine. Let's have a listen.
We're on holiday. We've been here since last Friday, so we can't complain. It's been beautiful, and we're here till Monday, so we're really looking forward to the hot weather. As you can see, the sunburn.
It's lovely. It really is very nice. It's absolutely gorgeous. We deserve it, definitely.
It's good. We like the warm weather.
Yes, very nice. Loving it. Yes, like the warm
enough.
weather.
Woo! Well, this ride is showing no signs of stopping, and neither is the sunshine.